how's it going, everybody? Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
We are so excited that you are all joining us today, and we've got such a fun group chat today. I can't even believe we're
12, so psyched.
12 really amazing women and women builders, and my mom is here, and there's Amy is here. Hopefully Jessie will be here soon.
But we've got amazingly talented builders and designers, and just really, I'm so psyched.
Yeah, that reminds me. I need to send off a message to Jessie. Oh my goodness.
So today we're not going to do much building, but I always have to have bricks in my hands. So I went into our minifigure collection and I got all the female minifigures and also all of the armor and accessories like that. So I'm going to be making superheroes all the time that we're talking.
So let me. I'm gonna first of all, I want to show our Disney pin for the day. I'm wearing Madame Leota, one of my favorite spooky ladies. So I got to put her on today.
And I'm wearing from one of the portraits in the hallway in the Haunted Mansion. I think she turns into Medusa, if I'm not wrong. She turned into Medusa?
I think so. I think that's correct. Minifig Chick, do you know?
Do you know that? Who's also one of our favorite minifigures is the Medusa minifigure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach.
All right, I am sending out here. I think I'm not sure if I think I got everybody on the email, but it was pretty exciting.
Just want to make sure we didn't miss anyone.
So yes, we have coffee today.
We do. We have coffee.
There's our coffee
in
cups.
Our Anchor Hawking Fire King Kimberly Diamond Mine
for your bingo. For your bingo.
And of course, on Mother's Day, Ms. Thing is with us, and she's sporting Dots bracelets, of course.
Oh my goodness,
which were a gift from Brickmaster Amy.
Yes, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, we have some of our other Dots bracelets today too. So what are you all up to? I can't see. Let me see. While Flynn's making these plans, I want to see without messing up anything.
Oh yeah, why don't you shout out everybody?
Let's talk about who's here.
I'm gonna step away for 1 second, and you can.
Wow, going all the way up. Okay, so I'm gonna say hi to Jake Animation Studios, Moto, of course, one of your favorite mods. Zonker Harris, hey Zonker, Jordan Zender, the Hooded One. Let's see, Shane Levin is here. Minifig Chick, our other favorite mod of the day. Awesome, thank you. You two work so hard, and we're so glad to hang out with you. We got to hang out with Minifig Chick virtually yesterday, too. That was cool. Hooded One, Jordan Zender is here. Did I mention Jordan? Wilfred, Ladies Who Lego, awesome. Jake Animation Studios. Ladies Who Lego say, good morning, everyone. We're excited to hang out with so many awesome waffles this morning. I think, am I saying that right? Waffles. Jake Animation, Hooded One. Flynn does so good at not repeating himself here. Avernus Workshop. Who else is with us? ET Videos, TrickyBricks, awesome. Jake Sadovich, happy Mother's Day, ladies, he says. Insane Lego fan, Bird Bricks. ET Videos. Wow, I'm looking down this list here. I'll raise it up a little bit. All right, Zach Martinez is here. Rob Ketcherside. Wow, so many familiar faces and some new ones too. Welcome everyone. Look, we're down here. Andy 62515.
Awesome. Oh, Zonker got a 3D printer. So excited.
Cool.
Very, very cool. Nice. All right.
Right, I bet Amy will be interested in that. Daniel Bakken is here. Hey, Dan.
Dolly says she's sticking with awfuls. That's awful. I like waffles. I like waffles.
Ooh, it makes me want chicken and waffles.
It really does. Well, and we have 11 with her waffle tile around here somewhere, so she's definitely in on. Yeah, look, here she is. There is 11 with her waffle, even though she doesn't like to, you know. Who knows if this is going to work or not.
I think everything's going to work today. We are so psyched. So many people joining us in the chat. Please feel free, chime in. We're going to hang out with a bunch of interesting people.
Sorry, it's Andy62515. Sorry, Andy. We are
did I say 62515? I think I said it wrong. Sorry.
We are grandpas who have to wear bifocals, and this where the chat is for us
right
is literally like right where our glasses don't work. So there's lots of
take this off.
Yeah.
We'll get a big giant readout up here like a teleprompter.
Oh, I see Jessie's here. Awesome, Jessie. So I see that you're here, and we're gonna be letting people in just a minute. But I do wanna switch over to this other student. Let's go ahead and get things started.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put in
we're gonna get high tech.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to introduce our guest co-host, are we?
Well, we're going to introduce someone else first.
Okay.
And then that.
Awesome.
And then that. So hang on, I'm just getting a little bit more.
Oh, like on the news.
It is kind of like on the news. I'm like editing on the fly, like editing this window on the fly, because that's how we do it here at the TrickyBricks.
Right, seat of your pants production.
Exactly. So I'm going to switch over to here. And I have our first very special guest, and I know a lot of people have been waiting. You've seen her in the chat. You've heard me talk about her a lot. Okay. Yes, everyone, it is my mom, Elise. Welcome, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. We're so glad that you could join us today, and you're here like all the way from Baltimore, right?
Oh my goodness! We say it's chilly here when it gets down to 58.
But my goodness, it's May. What is the meaning of this?
We should. So can't Minifig Chick says cannot hear your mom.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I think here we go.
How
about now? How about now? Is that good? Yeah, this is new technology.
Oh, we get.
Yeah, I'm hearing
coming up to speed. Tech glitch bingo. We're coming up to speed.
Okay, there we go.
Yay.
All right. See, it takes a second for
awesome.
We try here. Hey, but not having the audio working is sort of a hallmark of our podcast.
No, I think you've done well.
We've done all right.
Well, we see you in the chat so often. I feel like we see you every day, but I gotta say it's amazing to see you this Sunday morning.
Yeah. So can you retell your story about what you're wearing and why?
Well, I said that normally in May I wouldn't be wearing a turtleneck, but we got down to 35 degrees last night in Baltimore. And a few days ago it was 70, so I can't
that's crazy.
Explain it. So I had to dig all the winter clothes out again for a couple of days. So that's where we are. But I see you guys are wearing short sleeves, so
It's been in the mid 60s or so here. And everybody we always like to tell people when we upgraded technology. So check it out. We have headphones now.
No, look at that.
So I don't have to mute the guests every single time. So this is pretty.
Wow.
This is
a step forward.
A huge step forward. Thanks, Apple.
Wow.
Which also, of course, meant scouring the house for headphones that would.
And by the way, Richard, I love your tie today.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much.
Very spiffy.
Well, I was gonna button up the top and have it like all the way up, but we keep things casual, right? It's a relaxed morning.
He said it. He said casual. There's for your bingo card, everyone. If you've got your bingo cards out and you're playing along. So I'm glad people are following along. I'm glad our participants are following along in the chat. But I'm going to go ahead now and introduce our co-host for the day, Holly Webster Walkman. Or is it Walkman Webster? Hi, Holly.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Good morning.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is gonna be weird not being able to like see the chat, so you have to keep me posted if anybody says anything witty.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they will. Moto will come up with some kind of puns in the middle of it all. And if you want to, you can always follow along on your phone. And actually, we have a special little video coming up a little bit later that you won't be, any of our participants who are watching, you won't be able to see it unless you are following along on your phones. Unfortunately, I couldn't make both things happen on screen at the same time. So
I'm doing a lot of multitasking right now. So.
Oh yeah, that's right, because it's turnip day, right? Oh, I need to go back and open up my airport so everybody can come in and buy my cheap turnips. It's okay. It's totally okay. Because once people start coming in and conversation starts, I can sneak off and grab the switch. Yeah, we're always multitasking over here.
Yeah, today I'm playing with minifigures and mini dolls.
I bought that set just for that minifig.
What, this one?
Pop-up Party Bus.
Pop-up Party Bus is so good. So we have a lot of people in the waiting room. I can't believe it. So that's going to be 11 plus Holly and my mom. That's 13 people all together. Now, Mom, I know you said yesterday you're gonna just hang out for the beginning, and then you're going to go have your Mother's Day, which you totally deserve.
I think so. Yeah.
But
hi, Flynn's mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Hi, thank you, Holly. Same to you.
So
I have to ask a question.
Oh no, I'm already scared.
No, I'm just curious. Actually, are you guys originally from?
Where's who originally? My mom?
Originally, I'm actually from Florida and was transplanted to Maryland in the Baltimore area, and that's but Flynn was born in Florida, in Tampa.
Yep.
Okay, that explains a little bit of the y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I also Amy and Crystal both say that, and so when we were on the show, there was just y'alls flying around the whole place.
Okay.
So
I've gotten rid of the majority of my accent, but I used to get a lot of that. Where are you from? So.
Well, Mom, I hate to break it to you, but you still do have a bit of a Baltimore accent now. You traded one accent for the other.
Baltimore.
You do.
Okay.
I know you don't notice it, but you can.
There's a mix there. That's why I was curious, because I said, man, there's a little bit of just a hint of Southern twang from somewhere.
It's funny because my brother lives in Germany. He's married to a German woman, and she said that he speaks German with a Southern accent. So I think that's kind of interesting. So, you never lose all of it, I guess.
All right. Well, I had the opportunity to pry. I'm always fascinated because my mom grew up all over the place, and she's kind of in a similar situation. She grew up in Indiana, but then she's lived in Tennessee most of her life.
Oh, so my dad's family are from Indiana.
So, so I think it's time to let everybody to meet the rest of our guests.
Hooray!
So I'm gonna get everybody in the room, and it may take a couple minutes to get everybody in, but just hang tight, and we will be.
And we'll ask everyone to introduce themselves.
Yeah, so we're going to ask everybody to introduce themselves, talk about their what they do, and then what their relationship to Lego is. Now, Mom, I know you want to go, so we're going to get everybody. We're going to get all of our people in here, and you can say hello, and they can meet you, and then you are relieved of duty. Your time on the stage can be done. I know this is weird for you, right? But there's a lot of people.
A little bit.
I just want you to know that right now, at this very moment, there are 63 people watching you talking to us.
Don't tell me that.
It's so cheerful where you are with the cabinet, at the kitchen table. I remember sitting there.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, here we
Wish
go.
we were here now.
I wish we were too. All right, I'm going to get everybody in here. Here we go. We'll see how this goes. Mass entry. So, there are a lot of amazing people here today. A lot of amazing women builders. Look at this. Look at this. This is... I'm just so excited right now. Look at this amazing group of people. So real quick, I'm going to have everybody go around and introduce themselves, but Mom's got to go, but she wanted to meet everyone. So, Mom, this is everyone. These are all of our fabulous panelists for today. And,
I'm impressed with all of your artistic ability because I have none whatsoever.
Oh, that's
I don't
not
know.
True.
No, you make art in the garden.
Yeah, and she makes amazing. she does amazing photos of birds and stuff, and she's actually won a couple of awards. So, you know, I wouldn't say
She
that.
made Flynn, so that's pretty amazing. Let's be real.
There you go.
That's all you can say on Mother's Day. You made Flynn. So that's how much work.
It's
The
a
world thanks you.
it's a slightly flawed piece of art, but I think she did pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, look, everyone is on.
Everyone is on. Okay, Mom, we're gonna say goodbye. I know you want to go enjoy your day. I love you so much. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much for coming on and being on. I know everybody was so excited when they heard you were gonna be on.
I love
I
you,
was so
Elise.
excited to be here.
I love you so much. Say hi to the whole family, and this hug's for all of you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Bye,
Love
Mom. I
you.
love you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
That was so awesome.
Well, welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Yes, welcome to all of our panelists, and thank you all so much for joining us today. I can't believe, I know a lot of you I just kind of hit up at the last minute, and so we've never done anything this big before, and I'm still learning my way around this whole, you know, broadcasting and everything. So this is a super new experience, and I thank you for coming along for the ride. And okay, so I'm gonna, like I said to everybody, I'm gonna go around in the order that people are on my screen, and everyone too. I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure, you probably heard me, but there is a, if you want to follow along with the stream and see the chat and stuff, you can bring up the stream on your phone, and that way you can follow along. And there's also a little video we're going to show in a little bit that you might want to be watching the stream for, just saying. You can always go back and watch it later, of course.
Yep.
But all right, so let's go around, and so first of all, I want to have everybody say their name, where they're from, what you do for your daytimes,
And your relation to Lego.
and what your relationship to Lego is. So let's go ahead and start with Holly.
Hello, most of you know me. I'm Holly Webster, also known as Holly Walkman. Let's see. Since we're talking about origins, I'm originally from Tennessee, but I've lived in Portland, Oregon for about 15 years. And my relationship with Lego goes way back. Played with it as a kid, and then found my love for it somewhere around college or so. And then once I had kids, it totally spiraled out of control. So I'm a collector and a builder, and part of the community, and loving every minute of it. And I work as a visual effects artist at an animation studio.
And are you allowed to say which one?
I think so. Yeah, I work at Leica Studios.
That's so awesome. And I
may know me for my Coraline build that 10,000 on Lego ideas.
That's so, I still am so thrilled for you that happened. And I can't wait to purchase it, because we all know we know it's gonna make it. I'm crossing my fingers.
It looks like a super fun build.
All right, so let's go ahead, and next up we have Kristina Ritzman. So Kristina, let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Kristina. I also live up here in Portland, Beaverton, Oregon, with pretty close to Holly, actually. Let's see, I grew up in Texas, but I've been here for more than half my life, so Portland's kind of my home. And when I'm not building Lego, I work up at the local hospital here as an oncology nurse. So I've had a lot of fun recently.
Yeah, well, we know you've been really busy, and we just thank you so much for being out there and putting yourself out there. And I know it's been a lot of hard work, and I also thank you so much for joining us today, because I know your free time is limited. So thanks for sharing your time with us today. We really appreciate it.
And Kristina, I just wanted to say how very much Bricks Cascade meant to both of us, and I just want to thank you to you and your partner so much for that. It was an awesome experience.
It was an amazing year for us. I've been on the committee for Bricks Cascade for 3 or 4 years now, and it's so much fun to make that happen. And I'm so glad that you guys were able to come up and you're able to meet so many of the Lego masters, and just you guys are great. So thank you guys too.
Oh, sure.
And as far as the hospital, I think the biggest sacrifice I've had to make is I actually had to get tested, and they stuck a swab back into my brain. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness.
I'm negative. Yay. Anyway, my relationship to Lego is that I build a lot of buildings mainly. I do some pop culture, but I started in with mosaics. My husband started first, and then I kind of followed in his hobby, and I think I kind of created my own little flavor of it. So I kind of enjoy it.
Awesome. All right, so let's go. Thank you so much, Kristina. Let's go back out here and
seeing everyone's organization systems behind them.
I know, it's so great. Everybody's like,
Oh, it's so bad up here.
all right, this is Megan Rothrock, everyone. So Megan, I'm sorry, I just stole part of your intro. You can intro yourself. Go ahead.
No worries, Flynn. So I'm Megan Rothrock, and I am a children's book author. I'm also a toy designer.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was also a product designer at Lego.
That's so
that's
cool.
my relation to Lego.
That's quite a relationship.
Well, that character you held up is so fun.
Yeah, that's
Oh, thank you. This is Sid.
so much
Sid
fun.
is the lead character in my latest book, Construction Venture.
Oh, fun.
Building with Sid and Friends. So Sid's the lead character, but this is actually 3.5 months of full-time Lego toy design.
Wow. Yeah,
Wow.
I think
So Sid is a proper set.
Yeah, I think people don't realize sometimes how long it takes to really put something together. You know, people who don't make mocks, I think maybe don't understand. And that was part of the big pressure on Lego Masters, right? Is like we had this like truncated amount of time, and people don't realize how long it takes to really perfect something. And you have the ability to go back and forth. So, okay, Kat, I see you're muted, so I'm gonna tell you to unmute. And now here we go. I'm still learning this. There we go.
Video.
Hi, Kat.
Hello. I'm Kat Harris. I live actually right near Flynn's mom, outside the Baltimore area. So I've got my Oriole bird shirt
I
on.
didn't think I
Made-
knew that. Okay.
So that's the Lego parrot, but as a Oriole bird, go O's. If sports happen this year, I don't think they will, but. And myself and my sister, Kelly, who will introduce herself later on this, we are Ladies Who Lego, Instagram and Flickr. So we haven't really posted much recently. We haven't been doing mini mocks. My relation to Lego is, that's it, I Lego. I mean, I build, I go to conventions, pretty standard AFOL stuff.
But you build amazing stuff. So can your Zelda build was incredible.
Thank you. It is not unpacked yet. The tower is still wrapped, and I'm afraid to see how it made it back.
No, the Ewok Adventureland sign is completely like broken and still in the case that we had to bring it home in.
Yeah,
so.
it had its brief moment.
Its moment.
Yeah, usually I build super sturdy, but that one I just threw all caution to the wind.
Yeah.
And I didn't even care in the moment because I was rushing it. So it doesn't travel as well. But, not going to a convention anytime soon, so it is what it is.
Very
I
true.
usually do a lot of buildings, Harry Potter stuff, but I've been branching out into the character building. So Like, I've been doing a lot of construction and Bionicle and such, which is really hard, but it's so fun because you're like a noob again, right? I'm looking at these parts and I'm like, what are you? I don't know. What could you be? I also don't know. And you're just like, you're kind of back to square one.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting. So all I've been doing recently is just sorting for BioCup, which starts in a few days, which is like their annual.
Awesome. Well, we can talk about that. We will talk about that in a little bit. So next up is Bree. Bree, welcome. Hi.
Hey, so I'm Bri Duncan, and
Bri,
I'm from Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, no, it happens so frequently. I can't imagine. It's funny because my middle name is the one that I use, which is Bryony, but my first name is actually Sabrina. So Bree is actually right too.
Okay.
So it's weird, but so I'm from Springfield, Missouri. So shout out to all of the folks in SGF Lug. I am a network engineer by day, so I mostly just work at home on my laptop there over on the side. And that's kind of a normal sort of thing for me. So it's been not so different during the pandemic for me. And my relationship to Lego is I'm a builder and collector, and hopefully soon to be Lego ambassador for my lug. If we can ever get Jordan to Billund.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Let's see who.
Again, exciting drawers. So many drawers.
I know so many drawers. I'm jealous of all the
They
drawers.
go on for a while. They go for a while.
All right, Kelly, let's get you up here so you can join us.
Get myself unmuted.
There
Good
we go.
morning.
Morning.
So I'm Kelly, Kat's sister. So I'm the other, I guess, capital L ladies who Lego.
Yeah, I wanted to.
So like.
Sorry, I not to interrupt you, but I did want to mention that Kat and Kelly are sisters, and they go by Ladies Who Lego. That is where you can find them on Instagram and all that good stuff. And they very graciously allowed us to use their name for the title of our episode today. And I'm so glad, because I couldn't think of anything that was anywhere near as good as that. So we appreciate it.
That's how it ended up being our Instagram handle, because we also could not think of anything better than that. So, and you're doing us a favor, right? Because unfortunately for all of our other very esteemed, awesome women builders here, it looks like we're headlining this event, which is not the case. Obviously, Flynn's mom was the real draw for the no, so I'm currently a Portlander, so I've been out on the West Coast for a while, but like Kat, I'm originally from the Baltimore area, so grew up on the East Coast. And my day job, when I'm not building Lego down here, actually this is where my day job has been happening for the last 2 months as well, thanks to quarantine. But I work for Nike. I work in sustainable materials, so I do a lot of work on driving our environmental footprint down in our footwear product via materials, which are a big part of environmental impact. So it's a pretty motivating and also exhausting mission to be working on. So Lego has just it's been part of our identity forever. We grew up building it. It's always been a social activity because Kat and I build together. Our brother also builds. Our mom, since it's Mother's Day, we got her into building when she got all of our childhood Lego out of the attic. Like, good, you guys can have it back. I don't want to store it for you anymore. She started like cleaning it off, and in the process of that, putting pieces together, and realized she's hooked now too. So she went most of her adult life never touching brick, and now she's a full-blown convention attendee and everything. So.
Oh, how fun.
Thanks for having us on.
Well, that's one of my favorite coming out of the Dark Age stories. Like, it changed generations.
Absolutely. Yeah, she never got it. She would always be like, I just don't understand why you guys would spend weeks locking yourself in this room, building nonstop, taking things apart, and now I think she gets it.
That's awesome.
Once you start, you can't stop.
All right. Great. Sorry, and I'm organizing things over here, so apologies if I keep checking out a little bit, but here we go. All right, next up we have Megan, Megan Lum, another illustrious Megan on our chat. And Megan, I see your, yep, there you go. Let's get you up here. Hi, Megan.
Welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
So nice to see you.
My name is Megan Lum, and this is Dalton. He's mostly looking forward to Logan cookie time.
Hooray!
I told him about it, and he's very excited, which is why he has not left my lap since I sat down this morning.
It's very popular with dogs and people, apparently.
Yes. Yeah, I told, actually, both my other dog is actually not far away. He's just hanging out on the couch, also waiting for Logan cookie time.
Right on. That's awesome, and we will definitely be getting to that. So, awesome.
So what's your relationship with Lego?
Well, I think if any of you read Brickset, the website, I'm known on Brickset as Megan L. I write various articles, do reviews, largely around sets that are geared towards girls, but also some others. And along with Alice, we are running the Women's Brick Initiative, which I'm hoping we can talk a little bit about later on today.
Oh, absolutely will.
For sure, please do.
We absolutely will.
I also love the sweep you have behind you for photographing mocks.
That's great.
It's mocks and sets. This is the setup of what I use when I.
Oh, excuse me, sets. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Megan. Thanks for joining us today. And you're near us because you're our
Yes,
neighbor.
I am. I might be the closest of all of your panelists today.
Yeah, I think that's true. All right. So next up, Alice. This is very exciting. Alice Finch is here, everybody. Let's say hello to Alice. Hi, Alice.
Hello. From Seattle. I am a mock builder and a model designer. I build models for Lego mostly through their books. I have a new book coming out soon for Halloween, and I have my very own book that focuses on Lego architecture.
Okay, wait a minute. Rewind. Did you say a book about Halloween?
I did.
I want 5 copies. I will pay $1,000 each.
Well, I haven't seen the actual paper copy yet, but I do know that it has been listed on Amazon as being available, so you could pre-order it. So it's going to happen eventually. I'm not sure when it will be available, since printing is one of the things that's been affected by the pandemic, because everything is closed and shipping is slowed down. So hopefully before Halloween, can we say that?
Everything just takes a little longer, right?
And real quick before we move on to the next person, Alice, I wanted to say you are, Lego famous, Lego internet famous, even for your giant Hogwarts castle, right? That's probably the piece that people would most connect to you. It is incredible. Now, is that still together?
Yes, it is. It's in boxes. Hopefully not getting too dusty, but it's in storage and in my living room, and
oh my goodness.
Yes, it still exists.
Awesome. That's comforting somehow.
I'm hoping we'll have a chance to, I'm looking forward to having a chance to talk a little more today too, because I would love to hear your thoughts on Rivendell.
Oh yes, that's the other piece that people probably know you for.
Yes. So I built Rivendell with a collaborator, and the collaborators section is no longer existent, so eventually I have to rebuild those parts of it.
Got it. Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for coming today. All right. Let's see. So, Amy, my little Amy is here. I'm so excited. This is like a little pseudo family reunion for us. It's always great to see Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hi. So I guess my name is Amy. Dallas, Texas is where I was born and raised, and on the computer is where I spend most of my days. That's my jingle. My connection to Lego really is I was homeschooled. My mom used it through our education for everything. It used to be a very therapeutic thing and relaxing thing. And then I went on the Lego Master Show. And that was the complete opposite of what it is.
Wait, what? Lego what?
The Lego Master Show.
Not familiar. I'm sorry.
Where we lived I guess 2 doors down from Flynn and Richard.
Yeah, and got to build right next to one another too. That was fun.
Yes, and sing late nights.
Oh man, and masks and so many burgers and shakes. It was so awesome.
I know. The Friday night burger and shake Mandalorian crew.
Oh yeah, I know. It was massive. It was a total thing. All right, so let's see. Thank you for joining us. Okay, next up we've got Naomi Brickanista. She is an incredible builder, and we were fortunate enough to have her locally in our lug for a while. And then she moved away. But she's a big supporter of the streams, always here hanging out in the chat. I'm sure you've seen her, Brickanista, so welcome.
Thank you. And I'm so thrilled that you actually called me an amazing builder, because I feel the same way of so many people on this panel. When you asked me to be on, I was just like, oh my God, Alice is going to be there, Amy's going to be there, Megan's going to be there, Bry's going to be there. So thank you so much. And for those of you who don't know me, as Flynn said, I'm originally from San Francisco, and I had been going to the Baylug meetings, and my background with Lego growing up is that I didn't come from a very rich family, so I got most of my Lego from school projects, where they bring out a big bulk bin and they dump it on the floor, and we just kind of scramble around. And I went through the dark ages for a while, got back involved in about 2012, but then I really got involved when I started doing little brick animations.
Oh,
And when I started doing that, it opened me up to the conventions. And I'm wearing this Brickpalooza shirt because that was my very first convention, which is in Santa Rosa, California.
Can you show that a little?
By the Bay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Can you show your shirt logo a little higher? It's just cut off in our window. Thanks.
Brickpalooza.
Cool.
So shout out to the Santa Rosa peeps and to Caleb Rath especially. Caleb is the owner of the Brick Hut, so I would kind of hang out at the Brick Hut and go bin diving and talk about my projects. And he let me have a little segment of Brickpalooza called the Brickanista Film Festival. And I should mention, where did I get Brickanista from? That was from my Bricks by the Bay. I went there for an animation that I had, and then people said, you need a name. And once we did searches on the internet, and I go, oh, Brickanista's available. I'm going to get that.
That
That's
is
how I got
awesome.
known as Brickanista. Yeah.
It's great, and finding names is so hard too.
Yes, I can tell you from experience. Finding a name that hasn't been taken that includes brick in it is kind of difficult. So I salute you for finding one that hadn't been taken.
I snagged a super sewer baby last night. Super sewer baby now. I've got that on Instagram. I just posted just the mock that I did for you guys.
That's such a fun mock
so
too.
Great. That's so awesome.
Yeah, but my job is I'm a consultant. I have a small company called 1000 Crane Studios, and primarily do audiovisual work for nonprofits and government organizations. But thank you so much.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Absolutely. Welcome. All right. So next up we have Claire. Hello, Claire. Welcome. Good to see you. Your hair looks amazing today. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. I decided to do a very scary quarantine thing and try to bleach and dye my own hair, and I'm very glad to still have some. So
nice work.
Hey, if you have to bleach your own hair, going yellow or orange is the best, because you know
that was the backup plan. It always comes there. Oh, it's too orange, and I'll just lean into that.
Perfect.
You're looking very color coordinated.
I love color, so that's one of the things I use, like all the colors with Lego, and I love all of the colorful pieces and color everywhere, color everything all the time. I'm originally from Los Angeles, and now I live in Austin, Texas, and I was raised by an architect, so I got lots of Lego, lots of like every kind of building toy you could imagine, all sorts of structure things. So I do a lot of buildings, and landscape is where my heart lies. I do lots of both of those, lots of buildings with tons of landscape around them. I also love anything ocean, anything coral reef, anything aquatic as well.
Oh, fun. And now, but you also, don't you do something else? Don't you work on a certain convention?
Yeah, so I've been involved in planning for Brick Fiesta, which is Texas's AFOL Lego convention. Unfortunately, this year it's canceled, but we'll be back next year.
I love that we've got so many, that we've got a couple people here who work in and running conventions. And actually, I talked with Aileen Doherty, who does Bricks LA, and she was unable to join us today, unfortunately, but it planted a little idea in my head that we should do one of these Sunday roundtables with all people who run cons and kind of talk about what it takes to run a convention. I think that would be really interesting and fun. So that's coming up. Mark your calendars.
Coming up eventually.
Yeah, coming up eventually. Mark your calendar.
Lego conventions will happen again someday.
Yes. All right.
Thanks for coming. Welcome.
And last but certainly not least in any way, another one
excited.
of my lovely, lovely Lego Masters sisters. And this is really exciting because Jessie has not been able to join us for some of the other things that we've been able to do because our time difference, and you've been very busy too, I understand. Please welcome Jessie from Lego Masters. Hi, Jessie.
Jessie. Aloha. Hey, thank you so much. This is so fun. So I am originally from Iowa, but I moved to the Ozarks, and I lived there most of my life in Southwest Missouri, which is where I met the fabulous Kara Fletcher. So Kara and I have been friends for 20 years and raised our kids together. And so when I had my first kids, kind of when I got into Lego, with the Duplos, and then they graduated. But when they were real young, my oldest ones, they would be down in the basement with this clunky old huge video camera, doing stop motion. That was their deal with Lego. Loved the stop motion. And so, 4 boys later, we just had, millions and millions of Lego. And that's been kind of where my heart is. So I've always kind of been the sidekick, so I'd help the kids. So it's perfect being Kara's sidekick, which I am a contestant. Kara and I were contestants on season 1 of Lego Masters, which was the thrill of a lifetime.
And
Most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. And like I said, Kara, I wish she was here today. Just an absolute fabulous person.
Yeah, we did. We really do too. We were. I did reach out to Kara just so everybody knows, but she's actually has an outdoor gardening business, and so unfortunately she had to be at work. She's in the Central Time Zone. She had to be at work at the time that we were starting. But I did talk to her about coming on, and we are able to do single and double interviews now on our regular show. So we would like to have you both back on just to have a more, one-on-one, or I guess it would be 2-on-2 interview with y'all.
That would be great because together we just we're quite a pair. We know each other so well. So that was just amazing. And so now I live in Hawaii, which makes the time difference tricky.
Yeah.
Trying to get together with people on the East Coast. But thank you so much. This is just amazing, and it's just so fun just to be a part of the Lego, and of course being on Lego Masters was a dream come true.
I'm so happy
you
to.
guys. I'm just so happy to meet you.
I'm so happy to see you, Jessie. I have to admit to getting a little bit misty here. I'm so happy to see you. I just want to give you a big hug.
Me too. I want to give all of you a big hug.
Everyone.
I want a big giant group hug. I really wish we could do that. And Jessie, real quick before we go back to, actually it's almost Logan cookie time, so everybody, if you want to start gathering your pets for Logan cookie time, if you're going to do such a thing. But Jessie, real quick, could you, before we go to Logan cookie time, could you tell everybody what it is you do for a living? I think it's really important, and I would love for you to tell everyone.
Thank you. Yes, I work at a local surgery center down in Kailua Kona, and because we haven't been able to do surgeries, we're starting up real soon. We've also been opening up as a donation center for the hospital.
Oh,
so
cool.
We're getting a lot of donations. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jessie, so much for everything that you're doing. And I know you've been working a lot. I see your posts on Facebook, and I worry about you, and I love you, and I'm just, it's so special to us that you're out there doing that and taking care of people. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you guys.
Love you too. All right. So we are going to, I think we're going to go to, Logan Cookie Time.
Happen?
I think it is going to happen.
Okay.
So real quick, everybody, I'm gonna pop off to our Logan Cookie Time animation, and we have these headphones in. I'm a little afraid that he's gonna tear the cord out, but we'll see what happens. He gets very excited.
Okay, I'm gonna go get him.
All right, here we go.
A bib for him? What is that thing you just put down?
What was that?
Is that like a bib? What is that?
No, so we have to put a towel down because on our regular show we have a downward facing camera, and we put this piece of paper down, and if we don't put the towel down, he comes up on his paws and shreds the edge of the paper. It's happened more than once, and since we can't go out to get new paper right now, we do what we can to preserve. All right, everybody, we're gonna do our little intro, and then we'll be right back.
I know, in a second, Indy.
I heard the bark. That was an awesome, and I think now I want to add that into the end of the Logan Cookie Time theme song. A little bark at the end. All right,
everyone.
Here we go, everybody,
Logan,
with our group. Logan Cookie Time, hooray!
Everyone gets treats.
And if you have your own cookies, it can be people cookie time too, everybody. Megan, show us who you've got there. Megan's got a bearded dragon that I think this is a first.
Awesome.
All right, Logan, cookie time.
Okay, you get one more. Good boy. Good boy. Good dog.
It's quite silly.
Hey, Logan, cookie time. All right, so I know we talked about sticker time, but we went a little longer than I thought with the intros. So I want to jump to some of our questions, and we can get to the sticker time in a little bit. I just want to make sure that there's time to talk to everybody about some of these questions that we got. Okay, let's see. What is this?
This is favorite Lego building.
Oh yeah, okay. So here's one. We actually get this a lot. We actually always get asked what your favorite set is. It seems to be a common question. What's your favorite set that you've ever built? That kind of thing. So I want to go around. Well, we'll double up on this one. So we're going to go around and just really quickly say your favorite Lego set. And it doesn't have to be built or not. And also, what is your favorite Lego building element,
and why?
And why? That's our question. So we'll start. We'll just go around the circle again, and we will kick off with Holly. Holly, what is your favorite set and your favorite Lego element?
My favorite set is still the haunted house, not from Monster Fighters. I know that's a pretty typical answer, but it always has been my favorite.
Me too.
Good reason why.
Creepy stuff, and I had actually just built. I tried. Pretty much my first finished mock was a haunted house because I kept waiting for Lego to release one and realized eventually that I could just make my own, and so I ended up spending some time like making my own haunted house, and then it was like the following year that they came out with the Monster Fighters haunted house, of course. And then my favorite, gosh, I have a few favorite elements that are kind of my go-tos. Typically, jumper plates are one of my favorites for working in like offset, odd increments. Brackets for the same reason, and like anything sloped, any kind of curved slope, and hinges. They're all pretty equal. I can't survive without any of those.
Right on. Excellent answers.
Very technical parts.
All right. Oh, and Kristina, look, it looks like we have a special background player in your movie today. It's James Ritzman.
Finally got the cookie for our little hamster here.
Awesome! Oh, cute.
Right there.
Wow, now we have really run the gamut of pets. We've had dogs, cats, hamsters, and a bearded dragon. I think we're doing pretty good on pet assignments. Okay, so Kristina, real quick, favorite. He's hiding behind the chair. It's okay, James.
You can be there.
You can still see your hair, James.
So, what's your favorite Lego set, and what's your favorite Lego building element?
I love the architecture line. So I'm building the little Sydney because I needed something to do with my hands. I can't just sit still for 2 hours. But
me either.
I would say the one that I had the most fun building was we did the upside down set together. Actually, I built the upside down part, and James built the upside up, and it was really fun to sort of build something in parallel with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're like almost the same thing, but slightly different, so we could kind of compare as we were building. So that was a really, I just had to pick one randomly. That was a really fun building.
Very cool.
That's my favorite set.
Yeah, we actually just put that together on our live stream this last week. The whole week was Stranger Things, and we did a side-by-side build of each side, and then every day for the stream we would roll a d20 to see who got to build on the upside down. It was super fun.
I do have one friend who does not like the set because it's a mirror image as opposed to a direct correlation, and he needs to redesign the whole thing so that it's not a mirror image. And so, and he still hasn't built it, so I'm just gonna call out to him. But it's fun to build.
Yeah. What's your favorite piece?
Let's see. So because I do a lot of buildings, if I can find one real quick. Snot bricks. I just love the 1x1 with the snot stud sticking out. It is so versatile. You got the 2 studs, you got the trellis bricks, and you can just do a whole lot with those.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that I quickly deplete my supply every time I use them. So something that I use a lot, and just a really great versatile piece.
Cool. So I'm sorry, I'm looking in the chat and people are saying that there's a clock ticking sound. I don't hear a clock ticking sound on my end, so I'm not quite sure where that's coming from. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. if you have a clock near your microphone, maybe mute your microphone. It's not us, but I don't hear it.
Yeah, we're not hearing it.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristina. Let's see. Moving on.
But thanks for feedback from the chat. We always, you hear things we don't hear.
Oh no! I accidentally turned her off. Come back!
Oh no!
Come back!
Who's that?
Oh no! It mixed everybody up. No, it was Kristina. I put her back. It just
Okay,
seemed-
good.
I think
We're still here.
all of a sudden. I'm sorry. All of a sudden, I put it back to this, and then everybody was in a different order, and I got very confused. So I'll just go continue back on our order. There you go, Megan. So, favorite Lego set, and what's your favorite Lego element?
Oh yes, that's a tough question. So favorite Lego set of nowish, I think would be Neek's Voltron set. That is quite a fun build. Of course, huge fan of the cartoon back in the day. That was one of my favorites to watch. And when I got it, I immediately built the Blue Lion.
Awesome.
And favorite building elements, well, again, pretty much all the snot ones, but definitely the 5-studded, the 5 connection point 1 by 1, or the Dalek as it's most commonly called, and then also this bow element, the 2 and a bit.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many different ways to apply it to stuff. Of course, I used it here for Sid's feet, and it's just such a fun, interesting part. And without we would not have any of these if it were not for the Airling, which of course I don't have a sample of one because they're all in my models right now. But that is the one that's slightly indented, also known as the headlight or the washing machine brick.
Very good. Yeah, I love those
But if
too.
it were not for Airling, the Danish designer who pushed it through over 30 years ago, we would have no sideways building whatsoever.
Wow, that's so cool. Nice.
Wow, thank you for that. I didn't know that.
And we
No
learned
problem.
some good Lego trivia while we're here too. All right, Kat. Let's see, Kat. What is your favorite set and favorite Lego element?
I probably don't have a favorite set because they're all just so different, right? You're talking about parts usage, playability, nostalgic. I love the Paradisa poolside, that poolside set because it had the molded base plate, which, I mean, come on. And the same base plate was used in the Adventurers Sphinx set. So I definitely love those. Favorite part, again, that's pretty hard. I would probably say flex tube, only because a lot of parts you can modify the design to use something different, right? Like one snot brick, you could use a 1x2 or a different sided one. You can kind of finagle it. But for something like flex tube, you really can't. You can't get those shapes with really any other part. So I think that would be my favorite.
All right, so I just noticed that I muted our mic while you were talking, and everybody said the ticking stopped. So I don't know how it's coming from here because I don't hear anything. But there's your bingo card for your your glitch. everybody gets one. Thank you, Kat.
Well, I love that part. You're right. And can I ask a follow-up to Kat? Do you ever cut them?
So I personally have not needed to cut them, but I have no problem with people that cut them. I guess it really depends on the contest, right? If you're doing something that has specific rules or you're at a convention and no modified parts are allowed, then that's fine. Personally, I don't care. You're Lego, you cut it, whatever you want to do. But I also get a lot of used brick. Like I'll pick for it, and one thing I always get is flex tube. So I don't know the parts well enough to know what has been cut and what hasn't been cut. I mean, I do know that previous sets have called for cutting it yourself. So it really depends. But I have my little scrapyard here, which I'm sure most AFOLs have, things you started but then you didn't finish. But you have something like this that you can kind of get a cool, unique shape because there's flex tube in it. So you can kind of bend it and it'll look like a little bug or something. So I don't cut it, but I have cut pieces. I don't know if they're valid or not. Not my problem.
Okay, next up we've got Bri. Bri, why don't you tell us favorite Lego set and favorite Lego element?
Yeah, I'm kind of a cat. I think it's really hard. I love all the modular buildings. I've been doing a lot of that during the pandemic, putting stuff together. Just from a building perspective, I think the one that I had the most fun with is probably the UCS version of the Imperial Shuttle, the one with the big gears that roll up and down. And then if I'm doing like some kind of nostalgic sort of thing, it would probably be the solar power transporter from Classic Space, 6952, which was like the first big Lego set that I got as a little one.
You know it's a favorite when you know the set number.
Yeah,
Off the top of your head. That's a pretty good sign.
Yeah. So, and I still have the box too, which is fantastic. But I think I'm probably also in the snot camp. I love snot. So.
That's awesome. Thank you, Bri. So Richard just took his watch off. I don't know if that's what it was. It wasn't that close to the microphone, but you never know. Who can say? And I also switched to a different mic. We'll see if that works. Okay, Kelly, you're up. Let's hear it. Best favorite set, favorite element.
Oh, all right. So, I mean, like everybody, favorite set's hard to pin down, but and probably just because it's near me, because I was working on kind of rebuilding it to be like a dollhouse style. The Temple of Air Jitsu, that Ninjago set, is something that I just like. I mean, the whole Ninjago line, but especially that one because it was focused more on the architecture. And then since then, they've had the Chinese New Year sets coming out every January. But I just love that there was a different architectural style in these more complicated builds. Like to see something that was a little bit non-traditional for Lego style. And then elements. Yeah, there's been a lot that have already been mentioned. Things that allow you to reverse directions, building on the side, building, the gold ring for plate reversals. I love that. One that I was super happy that it came out. I have them here from building these. So this, plate with the bar on the side, and then this that goes together. I love these two in brown because I love building trees, like a lot to kind of flush out the scene, and they help you get a really nice like rounded canopy shape when you use these two pieces together.
Yes.
So those are some of my favorites to use.
Yeah,
they do that in the Stranger Things set.
They do a little bit in the Stranger Things set, and I did that when we did our Treasure of the Snake Queen. I did a whole canopy of trees covering one area, and those pieces had like just come out, and so
awesome.
I was so thrilled, and I just love that you can angle it. Not only do you get to angle your branches side to side, but also up and down. It's such a great.
Yeah, done. This one, I had taken pieces off of this but I built a cherry tree similar to this using the flower heads on sprue, when you keep them connected.
Yeah.
And somebody in my lug, this was years ago, said that was cheating. You should build it without having to keep them attached to the sprue. For the record, I don't agree that that's cheating. I think you build with your Lego however you want to build with your Lego. But it was a good challenge. It was a good okay, well, how can I get that shape? So.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Then that piece came out, and I was like, I know how I'm going to do it. So.
Awesome. All right, so real quick before we move on, Megan, you're next up. But real quick before we move on, I wanted to welcome somebody very special. Everyone is very special here. Someone else very special, I should say. Everybody, welcome Crystal Starr. Crystal is here. She's on her phone. I didn't warn her. Hi, Crystal. So we are going to we're going to continue on. We'll come back to you, Crystal, in just a minute. Hi, Crystal. Can you hear us?
Not hear you.
We can't hear you. Okay, well, it's okay. We'll be right back
in just a minute.
All right, Megan. You're up. Best favorite set, favorite element.
Well, like everybody else has said, it's tough to pick a single set since there's so many that I love. The Creator Expert line is one that I really like, especially with the modular buildings. I don't know if I can choose a favorite modular buildings. There's so many that are so great. I recently built Trafalgar Square, which was really fun in and of itself. And the Chinese New Year sets have just been great.
Yeah.
So I'm really torn. But for the favorite part, I love the new dots line, especially with all the color with the tiles. But for a single piece, I actually like the minifig. Especially if you're doing buildings or scenes, it can really help bring something to life and start telling your story. So when I do vignettes, particularly, I really like to include characters of the story. So I really appreciate minifigs for that.
Awesome, love it.
yeah.
That's a great answer. All right, Alice, favorite set, favorite element.
So, if I had to pick a single set, I would say Diagon Alley, because I feel like that was a game changer in how LEGO was designing specifically buildings, and the detail and the interior and exterior. And it seemed to me a landmark set in how they were designing more than just kids playing with it. But I have to say that was sort of the starting point, and there are so many amazing sets that have come since then. In particular, I like anything that Rock has designed, the architecture line, and how can you not love anything that Jamie Berard touches? So
Right.
Pretty much anything in the creator expert line that he's done always has really interesting techniques, and that's what I'm looking for, is new ways to use brick and expand sort of the technique universe that we live in. So as for parts, my favorite part is 1x2 plate with rail.
Oh, yes.
Because in architecture, you're usually doing something that's monochromatic. And anytime you can create shadow, you are creating another color. And this part in particular, and its 1x8 friend, is one of the most effective ways to create an additional detail, a line, without adding an additional color. And so I use it a lot. And I really wish they would get busy making an interior and an exterior corner for this, because how useful would that be?
Yes, we have to put that on the list of parts that we need to request, because that's a really great idea. We love those too.
It's not been made. It just hasn't been out.
Yeah.
Was that Megan?
Yes.
So, okay, awesome. Thank you, Alice.
Thanks, Alice.
And what a great tip, too. Yeah, that was one of the first parts we started building in with when we very, very first started building. I found that as like, because mostly what we had was basic bricks, and to be able to give some texture and some ins and outs.
We're also always looking for any detail that is finer than 1 pixel, and it gives you that really fine line.
Right.
All right, so Amy, you are up. Favorite set, favorite piece.
Favorite set. Good thing I finished eating my snack. I can hear you, Crystal. Crystal's not good with technology. So I think, like most people, I'm always influenced by what I'm reading or watching at that point in my life. So sometimes some of that stuff changes, but one set I've always really consistently loved is the Temple Escape from Indiana Jones. I love that movie. My dog's name is actually Indy. So, but that set alone is an interactive set, and it's just like the opening scene from the movie, where the boulder drops in, and I don't know. I love that set. I look at it every day. It's on my main shelf.
That was one of our first sets, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the first ones we got.
Yeah.
By accident, but yes.
By accident. Favorite piece, I really love Lego Mindstorms. I know that's not necessarily a brick that can connect, but I actually have been taking a few of them apart. But it runs on a Linux flavor kernel, and they're easy to hack and hook up. And I love technology and electronics, and obviously all the technique pieces and everything like that. But that one brick alone has changed everything for Lego for me, as far as gears and movement and
yeah. It changed our world too, because we decided to do our Treasure of the Snake Queen piece all with and we had 2 running simultaneously, 2 brains, and it really did. It changed the way I thought about Lego and being able to move it around.
And animation.
So did you use all of the ports on the Windstorm?
Oh, yes.
Well, we used 7 of the 8 sensor ports and all 8 motor ports.
All 8 motor.
Yeah.
How long did the battery last for that?
We plugged it in.
It was a nightmare. We plugged one in, and then the other one was a rechargeable battery, and we had to keep swapping them.
Swap them out.
And the problem is, and we learned this by a guy who does First Lego League for kids. that when the battery starts to wear down, the motor slows down. So if you're
Yes, that's what I was about to ask. Like how long the batteries last for using all the
mechanisms would lose sync.
Yeah, so that's I made wings, so I made like a cosplay outfit, and the back were wings that were motorized, and they had the sensors and they would open up. And so not only that, but I was like, you know, the motors were at like some weird angle, so I was really stressing what the Technic like brick could do. So that's the ultimate challenge.
Awesome. All right,
fun.
Claire. Let's say hello, Claire. Favorite set, favorite Lego element.
All right, so that's hard. When I was little, my favorite set was this like homemaker kitchen, and I have some of those when the Lego figures look like this.
Oh, look at that.
This is my Lego figure from my homemaker kitchen, and I could always tell talking to people who didn't have that as a first set. This was the baby in the high chair, and people who had classic space refer to this piece as a shooter or blasters or something. But I was like, do you mean the high chair arms? Like, why do you call them high chair arms? That's why. This was the people in the set. And then as an adult coming back into Lego, probably the Parisian Cafe was like the first big geared for adult set that I made. And I was like, this is a whole different Lego than the one I remember from when I was little.
Right on.
And then my favorite pieces, I'm also a huge fan of the Erling brick, the headlight.
Yep.
And
There's
then
no other piece like that.
None. And then in terms of newer pieces, probably this guy,
oh yes, love that
it's got
one.
the stud on the bottom, and it's got a bar and a pinhole, and you can do so much, even just like connecting the two. You know, it goes in all the snob pieces.
I'm doing that.
Those two together.
Nice.
And then on the fun side is using hats and hair pieces from minifigures as scenery elements. Probably also one of my favorites is just having lots of those just funny shaped pieces. You put the back of it on, people are like, what is that? And it's a hat or a...
Yeah, I did that for I did a little castle mini build, and I used the hair from the Joker to be the trees like around, because it was like a little micro-y, and yeah, that was super fun. All right, thank you. Who we got next? It's Jessie. Jessie, what is your favorite? What's your favorite set and favorite element?
So if it's hard to just pick one, but if it's Star Wars or Harry Potter, I'm all over it. I absolutely love it. And I think one of my favorite sets that I did actually several years ago was the original Yoda bust, just the head of Yoda.
Yeah.
I've got the original from years ago. Absolutely love that. Hogwarts is on my wish list. That's a must-have. As far as my piece, the popular piece of the day is the snot. I tell you, I've always considered it cool and cute, very practical. You need it, which to me makes it magical. So it's a little magical piece. But I'm all about the finishing touches. So huge fan. Always love the minifigs. Add them to the end. Got my little inspiration, Princess Leia here, and my little mini me. But love minifigs.
You should tell everyone what you did on your birthday on the last day of filming for Lego Masters.
What did I do?
With the minifigure that you just showed.
Oh.
No, the other one.
No, the Princess Leia.
Oh, duh. Oh my gosh. How could I possibly forget? So I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And of course, Lego. Who doesn't love Lego? So Kara made a deal with me that if I would join her on this adventure and be in, she would actually get her very first ever tattoo. For me, it was number 11.
Nice.
Leia tattoo. Before I left LA, had to have that. Thanks, Amy.
Did Kara go through with it?
She did. So she actually got the outline of a minifig on her ankle. It's our first tattoo. I'm so proud of her.
Oh my god, that's so cute. I am dying right now. We'll have to get her to talk about it when we have her on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she was squeamish.
Oh, I'm sure. So Jessie, so there are a few Hogwarts sets. Are you talking about the big castle, like the big one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, same. That's my.
The big one. Yeah. One of my other favorite was the original Hagrid's Hut years ago. We had a lot of the original stuff, the Night Bus and all the. Absolutely love them.
How much is that Hogwarts one? Hogwarts.
It's like $400 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not cheap. Save up your points.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessie. All right, Naomi, you are up. It's let's see what you got for us. Favorite set, favorite element.
All right, favorite set. I'm kind of with Kristina on this. I love the architecture line. So San Francisco skyline. That's one of my favorites. And I think somebody had mentioned it also has the tubes in there, the flexible tubes.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of different angles, and of course it reminds me of my hometown. So that's my favorite set. As far as my favorite element is kind of a combo element, and this is the disc with the spin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I put these a lot in my mocks, and of course you can put a minifig on here, and there's Batman, and so the minifig can rotate in different angles on your mock, so it's not just static. So that's kind of why I like that element. And of course, snot bricks. Love them. And nobody's mentioned slopes. I love the 2x2 slopes, inverse or the regular slopes. So yeah, anything to give curves and shape.
Yeah, rounding off the box.
We're a big fan of using those little rotators underneath a building. And as long as you build the building on tiles, you can angle that building whatever direction you want, and it's really effective to break the square. That's what we talk about a lot.
Exactly.
I used those pieces when I made like a corset out of Lego, and then like to snap for like the back, so I could be able to get in and out of it. So it would angle a little bit, and they're awesome for like little wearable
These are great. So it's actually a combo. You can't just have one or the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
You can put both together.
The
You can
turntable.
do so many things. And also on the back, if you put a jumper plate on there, then you can offset it when it's on your model, so you don't have to have it exactly in the same alignment. So yeah, I'd say that's my favorite, the combo.
Awesome.
Have you put the Tokyo architecture one together yet?
No, I haven't gotten that, but I have Paris, and I also have England or London, and somebody gave me London with the lighting kit, so I'm really excited about that. I got lots of plans, but right now I'm in sorting mode. That's what I'm doing during the pandemic. I'm just sorting like crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now we have Crystal back now. So Crystal, I think I think I asked everybody, right? Like, did I skip anybody on that last question? I think I got everyone.
Thanks, Naomi.
So go ahead. Let's talk to Crystal here. And first of all, let's get you caught up on the question from the first question we asked is your name, where you're from, and what is your relationship to Lego?
My name is Crystal. I have had a love relationship with Lego since I was, I don't know, young, really, really young. And my first set is still probably my favorite set, the Pharaoh's Forbidden Ruin. And it's probably still my favorite set. And favorite piece, I noticed we were talking about favorite pieces. I can't pull it out. Actually, technically I can. Haha. So the trapdoor piece is probably one of my all-time, let me break this out there for you. It's probably my all-time favorite piece. This is what really got me hooked on Lego. The fact that I could hide things in the sets away from my parents really got me excited. And they never looked at my Lego. And now, I mean, think about what you could hide in this fountain. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize. I think there are like 9 or more of these trapdoor pieces in this. So if I ever find one of these guys in bad shape, I'm definitely picking it up for these parts.
Oh, that's so cool. We have a bunch of those, and I never know what to do with them. I'll send them to you.
And I think we talked about favorite minifig possibly, and mine would be the Island Girl from one of the Island sets. Back in the day, that was actually my first Lego. Those were my first Lego pieces. I didn't have a set until I was a lot older, but my first Lego were hand-me-down Legos from my cousins. So they had kind of like the Islander sets and the pirate sets and some of the castle sets, and I just got a duffel bag full of random stuff with no instructions. So your imagination run wild.
Did you ever have a Dark Age?
Yeah, big time. Huge Dark Age, actually. And I actually financially just got off Lego until Amy asked me to be on Lego Masters. Yeah, my family
is real.
Yeah, my family was so proud of me for getting off, and then here comes Amy.
All right, so thank you so much. So if
Yeah,
you
thank you
aren't,
guys.
if you aren't currently, for all of our people who are on the panel right now, if you aren't currently watching the stream on your phone or on another thing, you might want to now. I reached out, and I hope this is going to work because I'm not seeing the thing, but I hope this is going to work. I reached out to someone special who wasn't able to be here with us today, but asked them if they could maybe record a short little video message for everybody who's on the stream today, and hopefully the sound and everything will work. You can let me know if there's any sort of incident. But anyway, here we go, our special message.
Hey, Brickmaster Amy here. So I heard that for today's show, you're celebrating Mother's Day with some very inspiring and awesome women. I just love that there are such strong, inspiring female role models in the LEGO community. You guys are awesome, you're creative, and you inspire me every day. So keep up the good work and have a great show. Bye!
That was so awesome. Did everyone hear that? Did everybody?
No.
Yeah, see, my mic was on. Sorry, I was like,
no, it's okay.
I actually didn't hear it at all. Am I the only one who didn't hear it?
We couldn't hear it through the Zoom, but I could hear it on my
on your YouTube.
Yeah, via YouTube. So awesome, everybody! How cool is that? So, Brickmaster.
For anyone who couldn't hear it, what was? Oh, sorry.
You can go. No, you can go back and watch the video. I don't. But it's she's unable to appear because of contracts and all this sort of business. But she did graciously send me a video last night, and I just thought that was so great. So I wanted to share that with all of you and with everybody out in the audience. So that was awesome. All right, so now I kind of want to open it up to some more. I want to go sort of a little more round table for our last 40 minutes. So I have some questions. And I guess, like, if you have an answer or something that you want to say about that particular question, just go ahead and, like, raise your hand, and I'll call on people, and we can kind of go around that way just to keep from having a traffic jam. Let's see. Oh, so you want me to?
Here, I'll read this.
You know how to read your
my
writing.
Chicken scratch. So this was actually, I thought, a pretty thoughtful question from Megan. We're noticing more enthusiasm from girls wanting to build, but there's nowhere near 50-50 boys to girls building. What do you think about that?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Everyone's formulating. Alice, please.
So a lot of good movement and I think a positive direction, but I think there's also a lot of things that are sort of keeping it in the way it is. For example, the girls aisle at various stores where Lego is sold, where there's just the girl Lego and the boys Lego. I think changing that would yield more interest. I also think that some parents, despite their best intentions, are still saying things that are restricting of the view of that this is a boy's toy. I mean, that's a legacy that Lego has established, a decade ago, and I think there's still some lingering effects from that, because now those people who were kids when Lego said it was only for boys are now parents. And so I think I see that and hear that a lot. But I think there's a lot of really encouraging positive things, specifically the presence of a number of women on various Lego Master Shows. There's 6 or 8 different varieties of Lego Master Show all over the world. And the representation there, I think, is significant, especially this moment, this week, this month, where people are at home and they're watching these shows, and it is sort of having a bigger presence. The visibility of women in Australia and the Dutch Flanders Belgium show, right? You don't know how much of an impact that's going to have until you start maybe seeing a year or two from now. But I think there's a lot of sort of positive movement, but we have a lot of work yet to do.
Yeah. I will say, like, I don't, I come from like the tech world, so I'm very much used to just adults, and I've never don't know. When we were at Bricks Cascade, our line for all these little girls was like 2 hours long. And that was a very surreal experience. And Crystal and I still get fan mail from these little girls. And then their parents would tell us, oh, they never thought they would see someone like you on TV. And I'm like, oh, I always just thought I was like this weird Lego person. Like that was like just my norm. But yeah, the impact on the little girls is I can't even tell you, like, all the fan mail. We even had one day, like, this little girl sent us $1 from her piggy bank because we didn't win Lego Masters. Oh, spoiler, by the way. But I was like, oh.
Well, I mean, I know for sure, like, yeah, Holly, I just wanted to say real quick about representation. Like, I understand, and I enjoyed being in the line and seeing all the little girls, and every single one of them had some kind of unicorn something, like whether it was a little skirt or a barrette or whatever, and it was so amazing. And I just want to say, like, yes, being on the show has an impact. Like, we get a lot of email from LGBTQ people saying, I'm so thrilled that you were just even on the show and like able to be there. And it was really important for us, and I think it's really important in this instance especially. Holly, you had something?
Yeah, I have a thought. So it's kind of interesting. I work in a male-dominated field, and I've always my interests have always been rather boyish, for lack of a better word, right? So I've kind of struggled to answer that question. Why is it that I'm interested in these things that most other women are not? And it really wasn't until I had my own kids that I'm starting to really starting to get a handle on boys versus girls, because I have one of each. And because I am a woman, but I'm not particularly girly, I certainly don't enforce any gender norms on them, right? I think most people that know me or know my kids know that like they are their own people despite anything that I would ever want for them, right? And I embrace that. So what I have found is I think that it is kind of a thing that boys and girls are different generally. Of course, it's general, right? And I think that Lego for the longest time was kind of sort of in this one box, right? And there was this sort of one way that you played with it. And I think that there were just happened to be more boys than girls that played that way or that were interested in playing that way. And so I have to give Lego credit for sort of branching out and experimenting and trying different things to see what appeals to more kids, and not just boys, because not all boys want to play the same way either. So, doing things like, the Lego dots, or trying different colors, or doing robotics, or, all the things, even video games, like every avenue that they have gone down has been to appeal to a void, right? To a missed market, to kids that aren't interested in following directions and putting one brick together with another brick the way that it's intended to be. Not all kids play that way. And so I just feel like again, having a boy and a girl, seeing that my girl is not interested in playing with Lego the same way that my boy is, doesn't mean that she's not interested in Lego. She's just not interested in playing with it the way that it's generally intended or marketed to be played with. So it is really kind of interesting that you have this AFOL community or this adult community there to show everybody that there's like a million different ways, that it's just an art form, it's just a medium, and that you can do all these different things with it. And I think as like Lego has certainly caught on to that, I think, but it seems like relatively recently are they really starting to kind of like get really involved in all the conventions and sort of highlighting, what people are doing with this medium creatively. I think as kids start to see that more and more and start to embrace it as an art medium, I think we'll definitely see a lot more female interest.
Well, I just kind of tagging onto that, I teach very young kids Lego engineering. And just from a teacher perspective, even like down as far as like the kindergartners, because I did teach a lot of kindergartners, I noticed just things across the board, especially at like certain ages, like girls would always color coordinate everything. So everything was like 2 or 3 colors, like limited color palette. Everything matched, and the boys were just happy to like go, and it could be like 35 different color bricks in one wall. And whenever I would give them the minifigures, I often would have girls ask for the mini dolls, and I was like, well, I don't have those, but I've got lots of lady minifigures here. You can pick from one of those, and they were always so excited. But it was just interesting to see like kids even that young are already having their own kind of like experience in that way. And I would also go around the room and be like, what's your favorite Lego theme? And almost across the board, the girls would always say Friends or elves, and maybe that's because that's all they've been exposed to. I don't know, because I don't know like what their life is at home. But I was just always so thrilled to have girls in my class and be able to have. I mean, I had one of my kindergarten classes where I had a pre-K little girl in the class, and I had ranging from kindergarten to third graders. She finished every project first every time, and we're talking about motors and gears and like making pre-K, like, and she never talked. She just went down and was like do, 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 do. And she's like, she'd just come over and hold it up.
Yeah, again, something kind of interesting with my daughter is, she got into Lego robotics, so she pretty much claimed to have no interest in Lego, really. Like, of course, I tried to indoctrinate her when she was little. She never really took to it much. Like, she would build a set and she got satisfaction with that, but then she just wanted to play with it, like, as a set. I couldn't get her to, like, get the creative stuff going. But then she got into Lego robotics, and it turned out she was a really good programmer.
Yay!
And she enjoyed that part of it, but then it became like a confidence issue that she was like, if it came to building a robot, she's like, oh, I'll let somebody else do that because I'm not good at that. But she accepted that she was good at programming. And only now, she's like 12 now, and only now has she really kind of started to get interest in building creatively. And I think because she does see it as, again, more of like an artistic medium now, where she's just kind of getting more into that, exploring different forms of art. So I thought that was kind of interesting that she totally was like, oh yeah, I'm a good programmer, no big deal, but I can't build. I'm not a builder.
Right. I see. Let me know if I'm putting you on the spot, but Megan, I see you nodding a lot.
Yeah, please, Megan, go ahead.
Yes.
Megan R.
Definitely. We've gotten so much further than when I was at Lego. When I was at Lego, there were not a lot of female designers as well. There was maybe 5 product design. Now, the graphic designers, there were many, but in actual product design, there were about 5 or 6 in the whole 120 some odd collection of product designers. So it's definitely gotten a lot more on track for girls, and Friends was a fantastic project to be involved with. We had a 3.5-year study on that before even starting concept designs, going around talking to girls all over the world and their parents, their moms, all about why didn't they like Lego? Did they like it? Did they not like it? What didn't they like about it? What would they like to see as something for girls for Lego? So yeah, it's been quite a ride. I really like the dots that have come out. I'd like to be able to get some, but they keep selling out, and then of course everything shut down, and there's no chance to get to a Lego shop at the moment. So I just keep looking at them online and enjoying them from afar, but I'll get some eventually. But that is a nice direction too, because that has a theme for girls, but then also for boys. But as I've always seen it, Lego is for everybody. And my books are tailored for everybody. When I was growing up, Lego was for everybody. I think also in North America, the interesting thing is that was brought up earlier about how it was kind of pigeonholed in that it was a boy's construction toy. A lot of that had to do with, of course, the Zach the Lego Maniac campaign, but that was mostly pretty much only in North America. So when you look at it from a European standpoint, there are a lot more girls in general that are interested and like to build at Lego when we hit the big conventions.
Amy, Brickmaster Amy, was nice enough to send the Lego Masters contestants dots So we got a sort of preview early, and I was really happy to see that on this box there's a picture of a boy and a girl making this, creative sort of pencil box. So it just seems, I just love that they're inviting everyone to play.
Not so much on the other ones. Like the bracelets it was all girls.
That's something on this topic to chime in. So I have a 6-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter as well. But whenever we're talking about girls and play and engaging them, I think boys and what signals we're sending them and what they should or shouldn't be playing with is part of that equation too. Like, I think we're all sort of circling around it, but at the end of the day, Lego's about creativity and expressing yourself, and there's no one right way to do it. For some people, it is an artistic pursuit. For other people, it's an engineering pursuit. And those are both right. One of them isn't better than the other. So I think part of the challenge, and this is one objection I do have to the dots line, which I love, but the marketing of it is like, it definitely comes across like this is for little girls line. My son loves it, and I'm still getting it for him. But I think part of it is like part of the challenge with girls and feeling like they're capable and should be able to be a part of the space is this feeling that the boys' way of doing it is the superior way, and the girls is like somehow less than. And I think to fix that, they need to be seen as equal. Like, there's one of these is not better than the other, and that means boys should be playing with girl Lego, because there isn't girl Lego. So
yeah, I think that's I was going to mention that, like, it's really important not to place value on any of these, and that's the difference. You can acknowledge, like Holly mentioned, there's differences. Everybody plays differently. Everyone builds differently. Everybody consumes differently. From all of the extra stuff that they have, they might be into the games, they might not be. But it's really important, I think, that everybody across the board, no matter whether you're, a waffle or AFOL or whatever, we don't accidentally place value on it. Like, you see a lot of these young adult books or TV shows or anything where, like, the cool girl just doesn't get along with other girls. She's more of a guy. Like, that's not cooler than being really girly. And it's really important that we make sure that we don't. It is important to get women in fields that have men, that are male dominated. I know Amy mentioned that, engineering, a lot of those STEM fields. But in doing so, we don't want to overvalue those and essentially say that that's all they should be striving for, because then boys who maybe aren't interested in those ways of building or those themes will inadvertently maybe be less comfortable saying, I want that friend set. So I just try to be really conscientious of not asking too much about it. I mean, I worked part-time at a Lego store just for fun once, and customers would come in, and you always want to say, oh, I'm buying a present for my kid's friend. It's a girl, she's this old. Okay, well, what does she like? Does she like Star Wars? Does she like this? How does she play Lego? Does she like building? Is it more means to an end? Does she just want somebody else to build it so she can play with it? And again, just being very conscientious of acknowledging all these differences and making sure that we're not inadvertently placing value on them. I know a lot of boys who love the teals and those bright colors and things like that come from the elf sets. And I don't think that they always understand how much that also matters to young boys and girls when they see male AFOLs who are building with elves. I mean, Flynn and Richard, your story build is just an amazing example of that. So it's just, there's a lot of nuances, and it's very complicated, as we've all seen.
Sorry, Alice, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention a couple quick things. In the recent issue of Brick Journal, there was an article about the pink train that I think it was Ed built in the Texas Rail Lug, and his experiences with exposing girls to sort of the train world of Lego and his journey with that. And I thought it was really fabulous how he has specifically reached out to trying to bring girls into being more interested in the train area, because it is sort of a subset that is more male dominated, right? Mm-hmm. So bonus points for that. I also want to mention that the Women's Brick Initiative, the WBI, we have some interns that are going to be working on a project this summer that I'm really excited about. And one of the main focuses of their work is going to be on looking at Lego in many different facets. The sets, the themes, the minifigs, the facial prints, Lego's website, Lego marketing, other print magazines or websites on how women have been represented, and that means maybe statistically, but also graphically. And we want to take a really deep dive into how women have been sort of represented in the Lego ecosystem. And part of that will be looking at, how many women minifigs are there versus how many men? How are they represented? So maybe there's 6 women versus 12 men, but are they being, is it an accurate or honest representation, or is it over-sexualized? And taking a deep dive really into all of the data that we can find about how Lego and how the rest of the ecosystem represents women. And we don't know yet what we're going to find, but it'll be really interesting to see what we can find, including what comes to mind is one of the old Lego marketing ads of the 8-year-old girl with a model that is unidentifiable as a thing, but it is, I think the line goes, what it is it is beautiful. And it doesn't matter that it's anything in particular, it is her creation, and therefore that is what is fabulous. And I'd like to be able to take a look at, okay, in the 70s or 80s, this is what the marketing looked like versus now. How is Lego being marketed? I think there's going to be a pretty distinct difference between those two things. So that's a project that we're taking on this summer to try and find some answers about how women and girls are being represented in the Lego ecosystem.
And then do you plan to publish your findings? What will the audience be for your findings?
Absolutely. So we plan on publishing everything, whether that's on our website. We intend on going back to Lego. We had a meeting with them in September where Megan and I talked to them directly about the issues of bias in what they present, Lego officially presents. It was a pretty big risk in showing up and saying you should be doing better, and seeing how they responded. And they responded by saying, yes, we acknowledge that this is an issue and we need to do better. These are like vice president level people saying this. And so our plan is to go back to them with the results of what we find and say, here it is, right? There's 9 reddish brown female faces that have been made, and 5 of them are angry.
Yes.
What does this say?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And giving them evidence like this of maybe we need to be more careful about this. And of the remaining 4, 0 are available on Bricklink for under $75.
Whoa.
Right?
Wow.
Ouch. So not one specific example, but then taking that over the whole sort of the broad perspective of women in the Lego hobby, right? How many women designer videos are there that Lego has produced? Well, I can think of 2 where I've seen women designers, which really is an area for great improvement. So we'll see what we find. We don't know.
Well, I think, Megan, I will have you go next. I just wanted to say real quick, though, that I felt like having Brickmaster Amy on Lego Masters was like a huge leap in that way. And also, I feel like she maybe got a little bit of harsher criticism online, like people, like, what's her problem? Like all this kind of stuff. I was like, she's actually a really lovely person, as you could see from, she's always willing to do, join in and where she can and stuff. And I think I think the judges in general, both Jamie and Amy, kind of got a bad rap online about what decisions they had to make. And
well, about the fact that
they had to be critical. Right. Okay, Megan, sorry, you want to go ahead?
Oh, you mentioned about the Brickmasters. You notice they always talked about Amy's clothes more than they talked about Jamie's clothes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And
her jewelry.
On to what Alice was saying with respect to when we get the results from what our interns will be busily working on over the summer, is that we will have something for the website, we'll have something for the post. We're also going to be taking a look at how fan media cover women builders, in what proportions. And because one of the comments that I've gotten when I've talked to various women builders is that there's a lot of women builders who get overlooked and don't get featured quite as much as men builders. So we're going to be taking a look at that too, including the Brothers Brick, Flynn. So we'll be talking to some of the books on yours.
Well, it's interesting, like, because on Brothers Brick, like, when I go searching for stuff to write about, it's usually on Flickr because that's the easiest to access, like, larger image versions of people's stuff. And I just look for whatever looks good. Like, I don't really because when I'm just scrolling through pictures, it's just pictures, right? And I will say that having been out there and seeing all of that, I wish that I had more like direct contact with those female builders so that I could see their things. Like I only just follow things that I think are cool and people as I see them. And so I would love to be more in touch with that so that I could find those things easier and they are more accessible to me. And if you've noticed, a lot of the stuff that I write about on Brothers Brick, you know, I leave Star Wars and cars and all of that stuff to the other people. And, you know, I'm always picking, you know, something in super bright colors or something pop culture oriented, or like I did Sam from Lego Masters. He did a great gem. The gem is truly outrageous gem. He did like a whole series of like a car and the stage and all the characters, and I thought that was so fun. I always try to pick up those more sort of like stuff that other people may not cover. But I would love to hear from you and with connections to people to see their pictures. Absolutely.
Oh, we can definitely hook you up with some more women builders. And if you're not a member or anybody watching is not a member, Women's Brick Initiative has a Facebook member group that women builders and their allies get together. We share what we're building. We talk about issues, and it's a great way to see what women are building right now.
Absolutely.
So can I just get like sort of a roundtable question that we can answer like at some point during this thing, just to kind of circle back to Mother's Day? I'm really curious what each of our own mothers' influence was like on our, because it is kind of interesting that we're all women here that ended up with an interest in Lego. And how is that? Like, did each of our own moms, did they like encourage or discourage us in any way to kind of get us on this path?
Okay, but so before we start on that, real quick, I think Amy had something to say, and then we'll get to that question.
Great question. I was gonna say, Megan and Alice, really quick. I've actually just been sorting through like a lot of my old comic books from the 70s, and all the ads in there are targeted at boys, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger working out, and some of them have these old Lego ads from like the 70s on there. So like during your research, that like look at some of these, because when I started to look through the comics, like all the ads are for boys. They know who they think are reading these comics. So that might be good for. Yeah, I can even just send you pictures of some of them, but that'd be good for your research.
Hey, Flynn.
Yes.
I'd actually like to sort of do a segue. You had Holly had a question about mothers, but I wanted to take it from the opposite direction, actually. Well, first of all, my mother didn't support Lego. I love her so very much, but she had 6 kids and not a budget to buy Lego. So, but as a parent and as a co-AFOL with my spouse, I have found a lot of struggles as a mother to be more invested in the Lego community. We go to the conventions and we're both on the committee for Bricks Cascade, and so we sort of take turns. Okay, who's going to have the kids and who's going to go to the committee meeting? Or, oh, now my mom can watch the kids so we can go to the meeting, or we can. On the weekends, I'm tearing my hair out. We're taking turns who's going to pick up the kid from school on the days that we're trying to run the convention. And we had our entire childcare follow through 2 years ago going to BrickCon. And I didn't feel like they would be welcome there, but I said, whatever, we're bringing our kids because there's no other option. And we brought them up, and they were very supportive of us bringing our kids, and my kids are fairly well behaved, so I kind of felt comfortable, but I know that it can be a really limiting factor for women who have children to be able to sort of push forward and break that barrier when we have to feel like I'm also a parent. I know that Callie and Holly and Alice also have kids. I know their spouses aren't as interested in Legos, so I don't know how you guys sort of do the trade-off as far as, okay, it's my Bricks Cascade weekend, here's the kids. I doubt that that's necessarily a really easy thing to do, but having both of us sort of rochambeauing for who's going to take the kids and who's going to do the bricks has always been a little struggle for us. So supporting the parents, supporting the mothers will get more women builders is what I'm sort of...
Okay, so I just wanted to, just real quick, I wanted to mention not everybody on the panel today is a mother. I didn't want to limit. I didn't want to say, like, sorry, you don't have kids, oh, never mind. Like, I just really, and because I didn't...
I'm just speaking to the struggle as a parent, but I recognize that that's not everybody's struggle. And, you know, everybody has different struggles, and that's not an issue, but
right.
that's been my struggle.
Well, I wanted to, I had so many people I wanted to invite on today, and I didn't want to send an email, but I go, please join us for our Mother's Day, and they're like, well, I'm not a mother. Oh, sorry, okay, never mind, you know, invitation retracted. And of course, as Holly pointed out to me earlier, everybody here has a mother, so I think that makes us all qualified to be here. But I would say, so those two questions are really great questions, and I would say, why don't we open that up to the floor, and you can answer either or both question that you want, because they're both sort of like semi-related. So Holly, will you quickly repeat your question?
Oh, I was just curious what us as women, you know, interested in Lego, like what was the influence our own mothers had, whether they encouraged or discouraged us. Like if they discouraged us, did we just rebel and like deep dive into it, or did they encourage us in like in some other aspect of our lives that, you know, is maybe kind of surprising, that kept us, you know, interested in something we might not otherwise be interested in, or did they discourage us? You know, I was just kind of curious, like if our mothers had any influence one way or the other on like who we are and what we're interested in.
Right. So either, like I said, you can answer either or both about that. You know, like, what's it like? How do you deal with having kids and your Lego life? And alternately, how was your mother any kind, you know, an influence on your building? I just wanted to say real quick, it is 11:48, and I understand if people have to go, but this is such a fascinating subject, and we're still holding strong at 70 viewers like the whole time, which is thrilling. So if you can stay around and talk, I'm willing to keep doing the stream as long as people are willing to talk, because I think this is fascinating and stuff that doesn't get talked about enough. And
if you want to go, that's cool too.
And if you need to go, that's absolutely okay too. Just give a high sign so we can say goodbye. But go ahead and, again, round table. If you have an answer to one of these questions, just raise your hand and I'll call on you so we don't get crossed wires here. All right, who wants to go first?
I guess I will, since I need to leave actually.
Oh, okay, so
Mother's Day stuff.
Amy first, and then we'll go to Kelly.
Oh.
Go ahead, Amy.
This is back on the screen. My mother homeschooled my brothers and myself, and we used Lego through everything for our education. We were homeschooled. I actually lost my mother to breast cancer when I was 16. And I still continued to play with Lego. It was just this therapeutic thing that I had a good connection with her. And I actually have this connection to Crystal. Crystal actually lost her mother to breast cancer as well. But this is something a lot of people don't talk about. Our dads raised us, so our dads had to become this Mr. Mom. So for Mother's Day now, I also celebrate that and Father's Day with my dad, because he's done both jobs. And yeah, I don't know. Actually, like I was gonna send it, but I found this like old picture of my mom playing with like.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know. I just found all of these. She was always so encouraging of like letting us play and no judgment from any other kids, that it was not completely normal. And that's been a huge part of like impact on my life. And I think Crystal and I really connected over that. In some weird, sad way, but yeah, so happy Mother's Day means a lot. And also happy Mother's Day to all the, the single dads out there raising also, because then they're Mr. Moms, so.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome, Amy.
That's awesome, Amy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm actually going to see my dad, so that's what I'm.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
I know.
Thank you for coming and be a part of it. We really, really appreciate everybody giving their time. And so thanks. It's good to see you. I love you so much. And
yes, we love you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.
I love you.
Bye.
Okay, so Kelly, I believe you were next with your hand up. So let me get you up here. There you go.
Awesome. Yeah, no, actually, it's funny that Amy mentioned her dad being such a big influence in it. And I think for me, like in thinking about our mom and both of our parents and the role they played in this being such a passion for us, I think you have to consider, both the mom and the dad. I think our mom supported it in that her brother had a ton of Lego from when he was a kid. That was our starting Lego collection. We just had a bunch of bins, and she knew we were into it and always encouraged it. But she was the primary worker of the household, so she was usually working, and more often than not, our dad would stay home. And his approach was generally to just whatever crazy idea we had, like, yeah, sure, go for it. So we had a dirt pile in the backyard was our primary place where we played with Lego. We built a whole elaborate city. We buried a hose underground so that we could have water flowing. When we decided we wanted infrastructure, basic public work type project, our dad was like, yeah, sure, I'll go out and buy you guys some concrete mix. Why not? So I think like parents who, and this goes for moms and dads, anybody can encourage this for their kids, but like people who are encouraging the exploration and be like, let's try, like figure it out. We don't have to do things in a box or by a set of instructions, which is maybe ironic when we're talking about Lego. It doesn't have to be by instructions. So I think encouraging that experimental, just seeking out like new ways of trying things, putting them together, and having a parent whose response is like, sure, why not? Let's give it a try. Definitely help. And with my own kids, I think I majorly echo everything the comments that Kristina was making earlier. One of the big barriers to women in the Lego community as adults is that many of them, this is actually true for men too, I think it's just more acute for women, they have kids, and not all conventions and events are welcoming to having kids there. And even if they are welcoming, it's not always conducive to you enjoying yourself if you have your kids that you're trying to watch in the background. So I do think that finding more creative ways to engage like all age groups simultaneously in some of these events is something that's going to encourage better participation. And it's the same, it's the same thing that we think about, like, lug meetings and when you have them, and whether people are able to make it with their work schedules, and can they bring their kids. So it's an ongoing challenge, but that's definitely something that we're facing too.
Awesome. Anyone else? Next, Jessie. Jessie, we haven't heard from you in a little while.
Hey, well, I'm going to have to go in a few, but I did want to speak just for a moment, just to, this is absolutely wonderful to honor my mom. She passed away a little over a year ago, but, the way she raised me was very influential on how I passed down to my boys, and especially when they started getting involved in Lego and what they wanted to do, when they wanted that unique piece that looked like it was from a girl set, she just taught me that, it's not a boy or girl thing. It's art. It's creative. You're being creative. You're creating something wonderful. And it's just this magnificent piece of art, because she was my biggest fan. So no matter what I made, she's like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And, I really love that. I passed that down to my boys. It's just, you're creating art. It's not one way or the other. It's just all coming from in here, and it's beautiful. And that's why I love Lego. It's all about being creative and being art and working together. You can do it alone, but you can work with your children, you work with your friends and collaborate. It's just this beautiful thing. And so I just want to thank you so much for letting me be on this panel today.
Of course.
It's just been a privilege and an honor just to be a part of this. So
Thanks for coming, Jessie. I hope you come back. Please come back and hang out with us.
Yes, we would love that.
I will.
We miss you so much.
Seeing you, Jessie.
We love you.
Yeah, so, and it was really sad that my mom didn't get to see Kara and I do this together, because she just took Kara in as one of her own daughters as well. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. Love you so much, and aloha.
Love you too. Aloha, Jessie. Thank you for joining us so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's always so nice.
Step away just for a second.
Sure.
I'll just for a second.
How about, could you refill my coffee?
I will refill your coffee.
It's a coffee refill. All right, so, okay, Alice.
I don't want to talk too much because I've already had my fair share, but I want to mentioned from my perspective as an educator and a parent, the relationship between creativity and mess. I am a teacher, and I think there's a sort of a new trend toward parents not liking things that cause mess, right? I see a decrease in the amount of art that kids are doing at home because it involves mess, right? Bits of oil pastel and who knows what else. And so I think kids are having maybe a different experience than I had when I was growing up, where mess was completely normal, right? You actually went and got dirty outside, and mud was not a bad thing. And I think the sort of comparison of that to how much creativity we were afforded because mess was acceptable and encouraged as a form of creative expression, right? I don't know that same kind of thing is happening now. So I'm really interested in hearing all of our experiences of being creative, either as a kid or now. And I'm thinking of that might be a different experience now because kids are not allowed that flexibility of making a mess, right? My mom encouraged us to make a mess because that was how you figured out all of the different possibilities of putting Lego or tongue depressors or whatever it was that you were being creative with. But I don't know that that's the same experience now. And when kids are building sets, they're building the set. And I don't know that there's the sort of additional flexibility of making the mess in order to then free build from that. I had Lego as a kid, mostly when my younger siblings had Duplo. I remember the Duplo stuff coming out. We didn't have a lot of Lego, it was just loose. And when I started building as an adult again, my parents were very confused why I was spending so much time doing it, because their understanding of Lego was just basically red 2x4 bricks with a couple slopes, right? And so it took actually seeing Hogwarts in person for them to have their aha moment of, I get it. They completely did not understand why I was spending, mostly nighttime hours working on this. And even showing them pictures really they didn't comprehend what this was. But they came up for Thanksgiving one year, and I left Hogwarts up in the middle of the living room, and my parents walked in, and it was instantaneous understanding of what this was all about in terms of why it was important to me, but also sort of what the effect was in terms of what I was building. So I don't know if that makes sense in terms of sometimes you have to actually see the thing that somebody is working on in order to understand it and to appreciate it. But now my parents are completely supportive of it because they experienced, I guess, the magic of why we do this.
Yeah.
And that building, that creative process, making a mess. That's why everybody has piles and piles of things to be sorted, because process.
Well, I will so glad to hear you say that, Alex.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Well, and I wanted to mention too, like my parents were always very supportive, and I think it was like supportive in a like, okay, honey, whatever you're doing. But I think when we won our first Best in Show trophy, and then got on the cover of Brick Journal like 2 weeks later, that really hit home for them. And then, of course, when the show happened, it was just like, then now it's like 100 million%, and Mom's coming on the stream. And what's up, Megan Rothrock? You have something to say?
Oh, well, yeah, Alice definitely brings up a fantastic point that totally hits. That, yeah, kids today are not allowed to make a mess with anything, with cooking, with, like there's no scratch cookie making anymore. For a lot of kids, it's throw it out of a freaky sausage tube thing, and that's like, baking. A lot of things have become very pre-prepared in a lot of stuff. And I definitely think, I was one of those outdoor, my parents couldn't keep me inside when I was a kid. I was out in storms, out in the rain, making mud pies, dragging the bricks out there too, making little volcano lands in the yard and things, and down by the river trying to make boats out of Lego. So they were definitely encouraging that. Going to my mom was interesting as I was younger. She and my father were encouraging. You know, he have some Lego and oh, you're being creative and independent and wonderful. As I got older, it shifted. So I was still liking to build with it in high school. And I had my yellow castle, which I got when I was, for my 6th birthday. That's my favorite of all time, is my yellow castle. Because it was my first set that wasn't my older brother's. I've been trying to get a hold of the brick since I was a toddler and he was 7 years older. So I was fascinated from a long, smaller time about it and trying to get at it. And he wouldn't let me touch it, which made it worse because it was his and he was coveting his stuff. But if he played with it too roughly and broke it, as older brothers can do, I could then get access to it. So it was always kind of a mysterious thing for quite a while. But as I got into high school, I was really getting into building more of my own stuff. And I had Lego in the room, and I had a bestie who lived, we both lived out of town. So he was out of town the other direction, out in the sticks, and I was out in the sticks the other way. And so we would meet up on the weekends, and I would overnight at a boy's house. Ooh. And we would build. He had, at that time, he had a hookup into, his aunt was from Vermont. So somehow he would get bricks sent to him like bags of elements for his birthday. So a bag of brick, a bag of green. And to see that type of volume at that age was just mind-boggling. Like, wow, really? You can order from the factory? I didn't even know that was possible. So he had gobs. So we just pour it out on the ground and then build all weekend. And his mom was very encouraging. Oh, wonderful, you're building and doing all these things. We'd take it outside, we'd build into hillsides, make little cityscapes and stuff. And then I go back home to my mom and she'd be like, well, why aren't you, you're going to graduate soon. You've got studies. Why are you putting so much time into this? And she gets it now, but she didn't get it then. So it's interesting as I got older, there was more of a constraint on it.
Just real quick, sorry, I'm gonna put real quick.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Well, we have somebody who wants to say goodbye. And
Okay,
then we'll
sure.
So I'm sorry, I got a little message.
No worries.
From someone, Kristina. I know you said that you have to get going and you wanted to say goodbye to everybody.
I just wanted to say thank you. My family built me some beautiful garden boxes for Mother's Day, and so I'm going to go plant some plants for this afternoon. So I'm going to take off and say thank you guys so much for the chat and for having me on here. And happy Mother's Day, happy Sisterhood Day, happy everything day for everybody.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. We'll see you.
Thank you, Kristina, so much for joining us. We
Have
really
fun in the garden.
appreciate it. Enjoy your garden.
Take care.
And I think I've got to click off two here. I call you guys Flitchard. Flynn and Richard. But real quick, I just want to say that my mom was, I really definitely bonded with my father way more over Lego, especially after my mother died. It was a really fun thing for both of us to do. But my mother was never discouraging from Lego, although I don't think she ever bought me a Lego set. She bought me plenty of other toys. I just think that Lego was definitely something for my father and I, and which is totally fine. But she had them and she didn't mind that she stepped on them, and she didn't mind that they were messy. She liked the fact that I was, busy. And she would build them with me occasionally, but I really don't recall her ever buying me a set. I'll have to ask my sister about that. So yeah, that's kind of my Lego is definitely with my Mr. Mom for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Crystal, so much for dropping in.
Yeah.
We love you so much. So glad
Yeah,
to
we
see
love you guys too.
Always.
Bye.
You know,
Bye,
I go on
Crystal.
Twitch just to watch you and not feel lonely.
Yes, we'll see you over on Twitch. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. Bye, Crystal.
Guys, I probably need to hop off myself. I just wanted to say thank you very much for having me, and happy Mother's Day to everybody. Real quick, my mom was super one of those ladies. She is one of those ladies. I talked to her this morning, who are constantly encouraging, and she was always buying me Lego and encouraging everything I did, even like silly things that I built, she was like, "That's amazing." And you know, one of those people who would constantly remind me that I can be anything that I wanted to be. And that goes quite a ways, actually. But to this day, I credit the fact that I'm a network engineer with my early years working with Lego and building with Lego. It's not only logic and reason and linear thinking, but it's also creativity. There's not one way to do the stuff that I do. There's a lot of different ways, and sometimes you have to be very, very, very creative. You can't just approach that in a way with a plan. So anytime that I have an opportunity to talk to young girls who are interested in Lego, I always try to be as encouraging as possible as I can with that. And, again, thank you guys very much for having me.
Well,
and
absolutely.
happy Mother's Day to everybody. It's so
And I wanted
it's so good to see everybody.
I'll be sending an email out, but I want everybody who's still on the panel to just, if you can respond to the email I sent you earlier with all of your whatever contact information you would want people to have, like your Instagram or your Facebook page or your website, send it to me and I'll be adding it into the description of the video later, and I'll be making a little post about it so that everybody knows how to find all of you on the interwebs. Awesome. Thank you, Bri, so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, so Holly, why don't you? I want to hear you answer your own question.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna mute. I guess to follow up with Bri, is very, very similar background actually. I'd say my mom encouraged. She didn't really encourage my Lego building. I think she was fairly oblivious to my interest in Lego and how bad I wanted it. She said they were too expensive, and that was kind of that. So I only had a few Lego sets as a kid, but what she did encourage were things that carried over. Like she definitely encouraged me to be a problem solver and to critical thinking, and she wanted me to have like technical skills. She was kind of ahead of her time and learning about computers, and she ended up going back to school for programming. She got me into graphic design when I was like, in early mid 90s, when that was hardly even heard of in me as a kid. I wanted to be an artist, and she said, yeah, that's all great and all, but this is the future and you need to have technical skills. So all of that kind of came into play. I think my interest in building with Lego and with like design, and I always say Lego is kind of the art of letting go, right? You learn, it's a great art medium because you do at a certain point just have to kind of accept the limitations and work within those confounds. And it really is a practice in problem solving, which has kind of carried me through, I think, my career. That's most of what I do in visual effects. So she was a big, huge influencer in pretty much in all of those paths that have now kind of converged into this Lego world. But kind of the same thing that other people have said, she totally didn't really get it, didn't get my obsession as it grew and grew until kind of recently. And the funny thing is now I've sort of flipped it back on her, where she was the one that wanted me to get interested in like digital programming and digital design programs and stuff. So I recently, like as of a couple of weeks ago, introduced her to Bricklink's Studio, which most people, if you don't know, is a digital Lego design program. So I shared that with her, and sure enough, she popped it open and started playing around, and all of a sudden she's like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, my mom was supposed to tell the story earlier and she didn't, but she when we were talking before, and Kat, I'll get you next. She said, well, I don't know if I have anything to offer. And I was like, Mom, everybody sees you in the chat. They just want to see you. Like, it's fine. And she's like, my entire experience of building is that reindeer you gave me. I gave her one of the polybag reindeers when we saw them over Thanksgiving. And she's like, and it took me 3 days to build it. She was like, I don't.
What's funny? What's funny is, so for Mother's Day, I hope she's not watching, because she watched one of these streams a while ago. I can't remember what it was. Oh, she wanted to watch the stream where we were celebrating the 10,000 of Coraline. So she's kind of privy to the stream though, although I seriously doubt that she's an audience right now. So I kind of don't want to spoil it, but I'm actually for Mother's Day, I'm working on a set for her. Like I'm building a set for her, and
cool.
I'm gonna print out the instructions and order all the parts for her. So she won't get it all today. I'll go ahead and send her like the digital instructions and stuff, and just kind of let her know that the parts are on the way when I finish it up.
Awesome.
But it is kind of funny that I think my son commented something last night about it being like kind of like it's a relatively small set, and I was like, well, she's only gonna want to put a day into this. So I'm trying to kind of be mindful of keeping it like a polybag size set.
All right, real quick, sorry, Megan. I know Megan has to go, so I just wanted to let her say goodbye to everybody.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me on. This has been absolutely brilliant, and it's been so great to meet some who I haven't met and heard about for ages, and then also to see some lovely familiar faces. And I think we should try to get together somehow more often.
Absolutely.
This has been brilliant.
Well, thank you so much for I didn't mean to interrupt. No, Flynn. Thank you so much for joining us. This is so, as fans of Lego, this is so exciting for us. This is really just what a wonderful day. And also, I just wanted to mention too that you, Megan, and Alice were two of our very first women builders that we met at Bricks by the Bay the same year. We took your class. We were right in the front row, and we were so excited.
We still have dark blue 2x4 slopes
from your
Oh, good. So
and then Alice, we bumped into in an elevator, and I completely fanboyed out on her. My hair was green at the time, and I was just and then later on, I sent her an email. I was like, Alice, I don't know if you remember me, but I met you in an elevator, and then I was like, oh wait, my hair was green. Of course, I'm sure. How do you forget that? But thank you, Megan, so much for joining us. We super appreciate it. You taking your time to be here.
Nice to see you.
My pleasure.
Do email me.
It's so great to see you guys.
Good to see
you. Yeah,
too.
I will do that. We have to hop over the mountain to Jim's mom for Mother's Day, and I'll see if I can get that emailed in for you guys.
Yeah, just whenever over the next couple days, I can always add it on. I just want to make sure everybody knows how to find everybody that was on here.
Okay, yeah. So you're looking for all the public channels?
Yeah, anywhere that you want people to be able to find you that's not personal, then yeah, please send it to me and we'll add it in.
Okay, brilliant. Will do.
All right, thanks,
Megan.
Megan.
Thanks so much, everybody, and happy Mother's Day to everyone.
All right, thank you. You too.
All right, take care.
Okay, Kat, I think you had something to say. I think I saw you waving your hand, or am I making things up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So I was actually going to comment. I'm not a mother, but that being said, Kelly kind of already talked about our experience childhood-wise. But I also think we kind of have this AFOL responsibility. And then Kelly and I have discussed this before when we've done talks. We have a symbiotic relationship with the Lego group. Their success means more parts, more colors, more sets, more themes, right? And we want to encourage that because they can take risks if they've got a good base, and the more people that we get into the hobby, the more the hobby grows. And then suddenly these niche things like Holly's Coraline House and things like that, suddenly audience members who maybe aren't big Lego fans but they're big Leica fans, you can kind of get all of these cross fandoms. And I think it's really important. And I think unfortunately I wasn't able to bring this up before Kristina left. Bricks Cascade does just a phenomenal job of making sure that all AFOLs are encouraged to really, really talk to all the attendees. And I think one thing that they always say is, make sure to get down to kids' levels, and just reminding people that, as AFOLs, we do these conventions and it's easy to say, don't touch, stay back, please stay back. But at the same time, these are upcoming AFOLs. Like they're K-FOLs now, they're kids, but if you want to be playing and building in the next 20 years and you want the Lego group to be around, then these are the people that are going to become your peers. So it's really important for everybody. You don't have to be a parent that is also an AFOL to want to encourage kids and girls and minorities and all of these people who don't have opportunity or a support system that is encouraging Lego. We all should be doing that. I think that when I had Diagon Alley out and I was bringing buildings down and letting kids touch them and feel them and really seeing like, hey, this isn't a set, this is something I built and you can play with it and see what I did. that makes a world of impact. So I think that just like every issue, it's going to be more poignant to parents or kids or things like that, but it's not unique to them in that sense. In the sense that we all should be encouraging the hobby, and we all should be encouraging future generations of AFOLs, because we need them. I don't want to be paying bristling prices for parts if the Lego group goes out of business. And as much as we want to toot our own horn, kids are Lego's bread and butter, period. We all talk about our Lego rooms and how much money we spend, but guess what? They make money through sales for children, period.
Exactly.
And if we want that group to continue, and we want, success and new parts, and we want more teal, then by golly, we better encourage kids at conventions too. So I think that that's really important to mention.
What? So you actually talked to people at Bricks Cascade? I don't remember talking to anybody at Bricks Cascade.
I know you guys didn't. You guys were so you weren't even doing anything.
Where even were you?
I just sat in the break room the whole time drinking soda.
Well, I think you make such a good point I think there are lots of kids who don't know that they can create, who think they just have to stay in the lines. And if I was lucky enough to have gone to a Lego fan convention when I was a kid, first of all, it would have blown my mind. But to have the actual artist who made it, care that I was interested in it and talk to me is so inspiring. I think you make a great point.
So real quick, we are pretty far over now, and so I want to just go around to everybody who's left, and if you have any final thoughts or things that you want to say, or just say goodbye or whatever, I'd love to just go around. So Kat, I'm going to go back to you real quick since you're the first one in line up here. But just any final things you wanted to say goodbye, whatever, please feel free.
Okay. I can't think, I'm sure I'll think of 20 things as soon as this ends. I did realize I forgot to include my profession in my introduction. If anyone cares, I'm a presentation designer. So I just design visuals for events and such,
That's
so
awesome. Cool.
All the banners that they have, whenever you go to a convention and there's these gigantic themes. That's futuristic 2020, and then they have I design all that stuff. So awesome. I'm backstage production. I've run video, so AV, like a lot of people actually that I've met. So that's been fun. I'll bring my little figs with me, and I'll take pictures in all the different cities I go to and such. But otherwise, it's good to talk to everyone. I haven't seen a lot of people, Megan and Alice. I don't think I've seen them since Scareback in September. So it's really fun to be able to chat with everyone. Awesome. And hold on. That's what I've been working on, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's your turnip time, Fig. So if you need to hop away for turnips.
That's awesome. Hooray. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us. It's great to see you.
All right, Kelly, let's hear from the other half of Ladies Who Lego.
Yes, the other, I guess capital L lady, but we're all ladies who Lego here. Everybody's welcome to join.
Exactly.
No, this has been really fun. I love Kat's Turnip Time. We do think that, Flynn, you need to build that into the run of show for your live streams, because your inability to open your gate is really hampering the rest of our ability to buy turnips.
No.
You need to. We have, for anybody, I guess, in the chat who doesn't, we're all over Animal Crossing. We have there's a pretty large overlap in Venn diagram between Lego fans and Animal Crossing.
We have to officially announce the acronym, because Lego fans love acronyms, right?
Yes.
And Grayson has decided that we are AFLAC. So adult fans of Lego and Animal Crossing.
Hopefully we don't get a cease and desist from the real company.
Maybe we should put another A in there or something.
Yeah, right?
Kelly, did you have anything else to say before move on?
No.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining, everybody. And I've been following the chat, so lots of good comments. So I hope this has been fun. It's been fun for us, so I've loved engaging with everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Megan, let's see. There you go. There it is.
Everybody else said about this being a lot of fun. I'll also kind of answer Holly's question from earlier, from the spin of, I don't think it's ever too old to influence kids. I don't have kids when I got married, I became the stepmom to 2 kids. So I went from 0 to teenager when it came to mothering and being a parent. And they didn't play with Lego when they were kids. They played with another brand somewhat similar, but not Lego. But knowing that I was into Lego, they'd come over to the house, they'd see what I have. They'd start out, they asked to build one of my unbuilt sets. And now one has the fully built Hogwarts set in her house. And the other one, to celebrate her anniversary with her boyfriend, designed a mock, got the parts, and gave it to her boyfriend for their anniversary for him to build the set.
That's awesome.
So they're both they're adults, have been obviously for years, but the influence doesn't stop, even though they're just kids.
Absolutely.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for joining us and talking about Women's Brick Initiative with Alice. That's so great, and big supporter. And please, send me that email with all the info so I can get that out to everybody. I know I already saw people in the chat wanting to know how to become involved, and so let's definitely make sure we get that out there. All right.
Thanks also for your thoughtful questions.
Yeah, absolutely. That was very helpful. I wish we could have gotten to all of them. I just think that speaks to that we need to do. Oops, sorry. I just think that speaks that we need to do another one of these, or another 5 of these, or another 20 of these. Well, absolutely. Okay, Alice, final thoughts?
Yes, I think one of the most sort of positive outcomes of this particular experience is, yes, we exist. Yes, we are out there and supporting each other and uplifting each other is really significant, because I think in a competitive world, especially many of us who work in male-dominated fields, we're exhausted for many different reasons, but being in the same space with all of you is really inspiring and encouraging, and I really hope that that others are experiencing this uplift as well. I'm grateful to see all of you because we never see anybody anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And this is a really good thing. I'm so happy to see your faces and hope you're happy and healthy and building something fun and creative. So
you too, Alice. It's wonderful to see you, and thank you so much for joining us. And thanks for everybody who's stuck around for our almost half an hour over our regular time
marathon.
But I guess also for us anyway, I'm what else are we doing? So this is great. But really, the fact that you've all of you and everybody who was here before has actually given their time to be here is so special to us. We were discussing earlier how amazing that all of you are. I mean, we went down the list and just talking about how amazing, and the fact that you, how lovely it is that we know you all. Not only do we know some of you just as from online friends, but we've met a lot of you in person, and it's just been such a thrill to have you all together in one place. And then my mom was here, and I'm still kind of my mom was on the stream. I'm so excited about that.
Well, we've also, and I wish I had had a chance to say this before when everyone else was here too, have found so much inspiration in your builds and have learned so much from you. Like really just what amazing, we've talked a lot about women's issues today, and something that we haven't really been able to do is share your amazing builds, and we're just so inspired and fortunate to know you.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I wanted to make space today for everybody to go around and show what they were working on or what, but you saw with 12 people it takes a while to kind of get around around the circle, the giant Brady Bunch of squares that are on my mom actually said that she's so is it going to be like Hollywood squares? And I was like, yeah, Mom, it's going to kind of be like Hollywood squares. She says, I want to be the center square. I want to be Pauline. I was like, okay, Mom, you got it. You are Pauline. You have the center square. Okay, Claire, any final thoughts?
Sure. Listening to some of what everyone also said about the girls' toy aisle and the boys' toy aisle and stuff like that. My mom studied early childhood education right before she had kids. She got a degree in it and then was a mom, and didn't work outside the home. But she was like, I am not gonna. My kids are gonna have gender neutral toys. So I didn't get any girl toys or any boy toys. So almost all of my toys were either building like unit blocks and Legos and like proper kind of like construction building toys or art supplies. And like, that was it. I didn't have Barbies. I didn't have action figures. Anything that was like too gendered in either direction was like off the table. So in terms of, you know, what Alice is saying about mess, like a lot of what I was left with was messy stuff. And I think she was thrilled when I was playing with Lego because it wasn't like, look at this sculpture I made out of string and chewed up bubble gum. Isn't it great? And she'd be like, I'm gonna put this chewed up bubble gum on my mantelpiece.
Yeah,
Thank you, sweetie. So like the mess being really, really important and building and kind of freeform stuff is just so critical to like kids growing up. And I don't know what happened later because my younger siblings totally had like Barbies and action figures. And I think she just stopped fighting that battle with all of our relatives. But I know when I was little, it was not going to be something that we were like allowed to receive as presents or any of that. So it was sort of interesting to go from that to being a parent in what's a much more gendered play situation than I was like permitted to grow up with. So that's all just been really interesting for me from that perspective.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Claire, so much for joining us today. Like, how awesome. I know I got you kind of last minute, but I'm so glad we were able to have you here. And we'll definitely be having you back when we do our, I really want to do this roundtable of people who run conventions, just because I know a lot of people just really don't understand the massive amount of work it takes to do something like that. I mean, it's outrageous. It's outrageous.
The closest I could liken it to would be like trying to plan a large wedding every year.
Oh my God. That's hurting me. That's hurting my brain. Well, fortunately for me, when we got married, one of my very dearest, closest, longtime friends, Johnny Cat, basically took over the entire thing. I think I made like 3 decisions, and he took care of everything else. So I was very lucky in that respect. Okay, let's see. Naomi, Brickanista, any final words?
Well, I actually broke open a box for sticker time, so I'm going to use my time to talk about the sticker.
Oh, yes,
I will
please,
say,
I'm sorry we didn't get the sticker time. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm doing your sticker time.
Okay,
I'm monopolizing your sticker time. So I broke out the Queen's Dragon Rescue from the Elves series that I got from Brooks Cascade, and I like it because it comes with these cool dragon wings.
Wow. Nice.
41179. And it has similarly this flag as well, which I thought was really cool. These translucent pieces.
Yeah.
Absolutely love these.
I love elves.
And the stickers have this like silvery sheen. It looks kind of blue on my monitor, but whatever's like light blue is actually silver, which is very, very cool.
Nice.
So,
Awesome. So much lighting.
And just briefly, my mom, as I mentioned earlier, we didn't have a lot of money, so it wasn't as if she was encouraging me, at home. But when I finally got into it in around 2012, she bought me the Mini Cooper set for my birthday. So it's like, how long have you been doing this? I go, well, not a long time, but absolutely love. My mom has been, even though she doesn't quite understand my fascination with Lego, she supports it. And so it's like no judgment. She just wants to make me happy. So, and I think for a lot of mothers here, whatever we choose to do, just as long as we support our kids, what's really most important. So that's my final thought.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Naomi, for joining us today. I'm just, again, I'm still just so blown away that I was able to get all of you in the same room, and we're both just, this has been a fantastic day for us, so thank you. Holly, any last thoughts before we go?
Yeah, I feel like we should have like a to be continued or something.
Right?
I
agree, because we got to do sticker time. I'm sure everybody went to the trouble of pulling stickers, and again, I'm so sorry.
Two-part episode or something.
Well, Well, the thing was, it was like, okay, I can do sticker time, and we can take 15 minutes to get through sticker time, or we can devote that 15 minutes to going around and actually hearing important things from everyone. So I appreciate everybody who picked out a sticker, and I apologize we didn't get to it. Maybe we'll do. Yeah, I think a part 2 is an absolute necessity.
Yeah, so maybe there's like there's somebody knows like when International Women's Day is. Is that like in January? Or
It
something?
happened. Yeah, it happened already. But to me, it's every day. So it can be anytime. Anytime.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just wrap it up and let everybody know that waffles are out there. So there's like a Facebook group. There's probably some other avenues for. So if you're a female builder or just identify as a lady out there that's interested in Lego or wants to get interested in Lego or find out more or needs a community of really amazing, strong, supportive women, we've got a group out there, and you can join. And there's collaborations. I know Bricks Cascade just started doing waffle collaborations, which are really fun.
So cool.
So yeah, there's lots of opportunities out there. I know it's hard. We've got a lot of us have kids and so many responsibilities that it is a lot to ask for us to always be present and always be building. But when we do great. So come join us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Holly. And we're gonna wrap up the. Oh, Richard, you have something?
I was just gonna say, Holly, I couldn't have said that better. Thank you so much for co-hosting with us today.
Yeah, it really. Again, I just can't tell you how much it means to both of us that you are all here today and took your time, and we appreciate it. And so we're gonna say goodbye to all of our wonderful panelists. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to send me that email with all of your info so I can add it into the video. And we're just going to go into our little wrap up here. So thank you, panelists, everyone. I will see you online in Animal Crossing, on chat, wherever that may be. And thanks for the gold roses. So
happy building.
Happy building. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Bye.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Wow, that was epic. I don't know any other way to describe it.
We could not have imagined that being more fun or interesting. It's going to take me a while to process that. I did want to take a moment.
I can take this out now.
Oh yeah, I'll take
You
that.
don't
the
look like
headphone out. I wanted to take a moment to introduce my mom.
Oh, this is such a great picture.
Joanne, that's from 1960. I was born in 1966, so that's about as dressed up as she got, and she was wearing her mother of pearl horn rim glasses and her mink stole and just having an awesome time. My mom isn't with us since 2003, but I'm just my other mom, Nancy, I'm going to talk with later today. And I just wanted to introduce you to my mom and say I am blown away by today as a Lego fan and a fan of women too.
Absolutely. This was an incredible stream, and thank you all so much for joining us and sticking with us well past our time.
Thanks for Flynn's mom.
And thanks, Mom, for coming in and seeing and all of our panelists. So real quick, I just wanted to let you know that if you have any questions for us or suggestions for ideas for future streams, I know somebody mentioned doing an LGBTQ panel for Pride Month, and that's actually already on the schedule. That's sort of like my next big thing. We're also going to be doing a wearables one, and this one about how to do a convention. So I'm really excited for all of this coming up. And I think it was an amazing stream. So much great information. So many great women builders to hear their perspective on it. I think was really wonderful. So any questions, anything like that, Flynn at TrickyBricks.com.
We'll try and we'll try and answer questions on the air. Today, I'm sorry, I hope you'll bear with us that we focus so much on the conversation and not so much on the chat, but we're going to go through the chat as well.
So don't forget that you can find us on Instagram at TrickyBricks. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone, for the compliments on the stream. I'm so glad that you all enjoyed it, and we'll definitely be doing more of those for sure. If you want to send us anything through the actual mail, you can do that too. It's Flynn and Richard, P.O. Box 11517, Oakland, California 94611. Thank you, and yes, Flitchard is a thing now.
It is. It's a thing.
I think it's hilarious.
We're in the house of Flitchard.
Yeah. So please, everybody, Join us tomorrow.
Yep, we're back tomorrow.
At the top of the stream, we will be showing off the completed upside-down model with all the stickers applied and everything, completely done. And then we're going to be moving on to showing how we built our car for the challenge a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, we'll do a teardown.
We'll be doing a teardown, and then obviously also too we will be giving out our next challenge for this next week's challenge.
What could it be?
Yes, who can say? But I wanted to again thank you to all our panelists. Thanks to all of you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 10 a.m. All right, goodbye everyone.
Bye everyone.